Welcome to episode 243 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. Even though I technically have not released 242, I apologize. You know, shit happens.
Yeah.
It'll probably go out tonight because I got to do some stuff with my computer tonight. So it'll probably go out tonight, and then this one will go out at some point after that. We don't have Robert here because Robert is often south of us shooting deer.
He's having a good time.
He got a doe today. He's on a hunt for does and spikes. For those non-deer people, those are does or females, and spikes are the ones with literally just spikes for antlers. And he couldn't shoot the big deer. And then this morning he got in the stand, and for like 45 minutes, a 10-point buck just stood in front of him like 75 yards out, and he couldn't shoot it.
Yeah.
Just broadside right there. Wasn't allowed to shoot it.
My dad used to hate when that happened.
But he did get a doe tonight. I saw a picture, and he got a pig yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Can't shoot enough pigs. Shoot every pig you see. That's why we should be allowed to have automatic or fully automatic rifles, just to mow down entire families of pigs. And then somebody out there's like, that seems messed up. It's not.
They're invasive.
It's the right thing to do. Shoot pigs. All right, Katie, you want to get sponsor stuff out of the way?
Sure.
Did you write Christmas cards?
Yep.
Okay.
Lil's Shop of Horrors operates a commercial feeder breeder facility based out of San Antonio, Texas, and they specialize in rats, mice, dubia roaches, Madagascar hissing cockroaches, and more. As feeder breeders, they focus on the nutritional needs of the animals that consume them. Nationwide shipping is available on live insects. For frozen rodent shipments, reach out to check availability in your area. They do have weekly meetups scheduled throughout South Central Texas and are aiming to expand their meetup locations this year. So follow them online to keep up to date with their meetup schedule. Feel free to look on their website at lilsshopofhorrors.com, email them directly through their inquiries page, or send them a text to order today.
Fuck you, Chris.
What happened?
Just Crispy and Chris. Herb's Reptile Shows.
I didn't know what was going on.
There's only one left this year. Slidell, Louisiana, December 14th, December 15th. So if you want to get to a Herb show this year, December 14th and 15th, coming up. And then the first one of the year is in the Great White North of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, January 11th and 12th. Not going to that. That's too far north. And they have people that like ketchup chips up there. So that's enough to not go there. Longview, Texas, January 18th, January 19th. Then over to Conroe. Come see us at Conroe, January 25th, January 26th. We'll be set up there. I guess Katie will be there.
I don't actually know.
Every time I'm like, Katie will be there. She's like, no, I'm not actually coming that weekend.
Well, I have a competition that weekend with some of my kids. So.
Fucking course. I'll be there. The podcast will be set up.
They pay me to teach kids extra stuff, and they compete that weekend.
If you come to the Conroe show and say hi, maybe you can be on the podcast. Come by. We'll be there.
You can take my spot.
I have to keep getting people to take your spot every time.
It's okay.
Corpus Christi, Texas, February 1st, February 2nd. Then over to Baton Rouge, March 1st, March 2nd. There's a whole month there where people have a break. And then Bryan College Station, March 8th, March 9th. And then our home show, the Rosenberg, Texas show, March 15th, March 16th, which Katie may or may not make to that.
Neither one of us will be there.
Why not?
Because Seth is getting married.
He's not my brother.
We have a wedding.
He's not my brother.
You have a wedding out of town that weekend.
Do I have to dress up for that?
I don't know where the wedding is yet.
That's going to depend whether or not I'm at Rosenberg. If I have to dress up, I'm going to be in Rosenberg.
You're going to the wedding. It's not optional. Just accept it.
The fucker made it not make me dress. I didn't make anybody in your family dress. I didn't make anybody in your family dress up for a wedding.
Moving on. You have a wedding that weekend. That's all you need to know.
I'm not dressing up.
And then your parents are here and it's spring break.
It's going to be March. And it's going to be in Mobile. So it's already going to be 90 degrees.
Not necessarily.
Bullshit. It'll already be 90 degrees.
It'll be fun.
I'm not dressing up for that.
We'll see.
They're already married. They've already had kids.
Give this to Valerie. We love her.
No, she's cool and all, but I mean, I didn't dress up for you for a wedding.
I know. I did that on purpose.
I'm dressing up for her for a wedding.
You'll be fine.
Anyways, apparently we won't be at Rosenberg.
Nope. Sorry, guys.
So, sorry. I have to go to a wedding.
Yep.
Fucking bullshit. Anyways, if you need an LED UVB light bulb, check out VivTech Products. Use code GUMBO22, save 15%. That's it. Man, that code is 2 years old now. How about that? Code GUMBO22, save 15%. Go to VivTech for all of your LED UVB light bulb needs and or camera, smart devices, any of that stuff. Leave anybody out? I think I got everybody. I think we covered everybody.
I think so.
Until we haven't? Okay. Let's go ahead and bring our guest in. What are you doing?
I'm drying the stupid gel pen because I hate these ink pens.
People in chat. What pen do you like?
Ballpoint pens are far superior.
G2 pens are better.
They
Gel
don't
G2
smear.
pens. Then don't smear. Learn how to write the pen. What you do not have to fan it that much. You are overreacting. If that thing,
no,
that thing
I'm not.
Not
Bring Jeff in.
You're writing on paper. It's not going to smear on paper. It smears if you write on something that's smooth.
Shh.
Anyways,
bring in Jeff.
Let's bring in Jeff. Our guest is Jeff Frederick from Being Jeff Frederick. That's what he's from Bingham.
Hey everyone. Katie, I agree with you on the gel point pens. Not a fan. However, you don't need to shake that sumbitch like a Polaroid picture.
Jeff, just hush. Just hush, Jeff. It's okay. Just sit there and look pretty.
For those that don't know, Jeff is, if you see our logo in the upper right corner, that's from Jeff. Our little logo with the little alligator there. Because apparently my other logo was so busy, according to everybody else.
I mean, it's a beautiful piece of art.
I get it.
You're just limiting yourself on how well you could print it and stuff.
It is hard.
You're getting into the sticker business and stuff like that. You know, you need to be able to whip some stuff out.
Yeah,
it's definitely hard to print.
Oh, so how's it going, Jeff?
It's good, man. Life has been crazy, but it's, I think, coming to a plateau, which is good. And here I am with you guys, which is even better. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you, and Merry Christmas to you coming up, and happy holidays for all the others.
Week and a half. Just got to make it a week and a half. And then I'm off for 2 weeks.
7 more wake ups.
It's such a weird coming back from Thanksgiving to Christmas because we come back for like 3 weeks and then we're on break again. And like you can't really get anything done.
No, we have the spelling bee tomorrow, which means I'm going to lose an hour of my day.
Spelling bees.
Yeah.
I didn't know they still had those.
Yeah.
That can't be right because none of my kids can spell.
They
had to stop doing that for
I have 4 4th graders in there. And of course, like the whole class wants to go watch them.
What's the hardest word a 4th grader has to spell?
Oh, I have no idea.
You can't spell it either?
No, I don't do anything with it. That's not my job.
Are they super confused?
I have too much else going on my plate. Like they tell me where to show up and when to be places.
I before E, except for when it's not I before E.
Mm-hmm.
They love those in the spelling bee.
Are you
to be
all
honest,
right?
like I hit it in the 3rd grade. I was up on stage for the spelling bee and everything. And they love to pull the I before E and the exceptions to the rules and all that kind of stuff.
I do feel really bad because one of the girls that I have that's competing that could potentially go really far, she has been doing that in class a lot, all the coughing.
Just dying over here. Leave me alone.
And she asked me today, she goes, I'm going to have to stand up on stage and talk tomorrow. I said, bring a bottle of water. You'll be okay. I'll bring an extra bottle of water.
Hold on.
It'll work out.
Hey, see anal side. Do y'all really call yours Thanksgiving as well? Because
Thanksgiving in October.
No.
What?
First off, you can't do it. You already have Halloween in October. You can't do 2 major holidays. And yes, Halloween's a holiday. You can't do 2 major holidays in 1 month. Y'all are so fucked up there. Milk in a bag and Thanksgiving in the wrong month. Oh, God.
Universal health care. Just all twisted.
But right now they have a postal strike. So let me know when you start getting your mail again.
But I need to find out the history of Canada's Thanksgiving. Like, I know ours. We pretend that we got really friendly with the Indians right before we just fucking killed them and told them to go somewhere else. Did y'all do the same thing? Did y'all say, hey, we're friends? Now, if y'all can go live over there.
No, they send them all to their Catholic schools.
It's held on the 2nd Monday
of
October.
We're getting that.
It's often referred to as the Canadian Thanksgiving.
That's what we just said. Canadian Thanksgiving.
To distinguish against the American holiday.
Against the real one.
A celebration of being thankful for what one has and the bounty of the previous year.
Moose and syrup? What are y'all thankful for? Winters that last way too fucking long?
Like, genocidal and murderous roots as ours?
It has officially been celebrated since November 6th of 1879.
Wait. It's been celebrated since November, but they're doing it in October.
Mm-hmm. The date
you already had it in the right month.
The date varied. I was distracted by the F word on the screen.
But it's not an F word.
The date varied by year and was not fixed. It is more commonly the 2nd Monday in October. In January of 1957, the Governor General of Canada issued a proclamation stating that a day of general thanksgiving to Almighty God for the bountiful harvest with which Canada has been blessed.
Y'all just made shit up.
That should be observed on the 2nd Monday of October.
That's what the fuck. They just made. No, what happened was they saw us having a Thanksgiving, cool. And then Canada's like, We can do that shit too, but we got to make up something.
Yeah.
We're just thankful.
They probably put ketchup on their turkeys.
Weirdos. They probably do. Weird ass Canadians. That's not even. You don't get to have Thanksgiving. Like, that's not. We killed an entire group of people to have that. You didn't do shit. We took over their land, and then
the Canadian Football League usually holds a doubleheader that day in the Thanksgiving Day Classic.
That's okay. So I've watched a lot of Canadian football in the last 2 years. It's a fucked up sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a thing where it said Canadian football has been around longer than American football. And if that's true, y'all have had more time to get that shit right, and you still fucked it up. First off, 3 downs, ridiculous. 3 downs is not enough downs. It's ridiculous. Putting the goalpost at the front of the end zone so you can knock yourself out when you go to catch a pass.
Yeah.
Also ridiculous. I still don't understand how you can score points on a punt.
In 1935, it was not held on the second Monday of October because of a general election. They moved it.
Oh, Katie's still on Thanksgiving.
I'm down a rabbit hole. This is why I don't look.
Trying to figure out how Canadians have a Thanksgiving without actually doing anything.
I could have just texted my uncle, but
I'm sure there's a great YouTube video that can do it a lot better than we can right now.
No, I think we're doing it pretty good.
Seconds or less. No, I think we nailed it. Just like saw what America was doing, liked it, took out the parts they didn't, and went for it.
Yeah.
With ketchup chips and milk in bags.
And milk in bags. And moose. Just everywhere.
Somehow.
Moose.
Cornucopia of a moose in Hitler.
With syrup just pouring out of it. It's very sticky cornucopia.
That's what it is.
Oh, fucking Canadians. Also, I still don't understand how you're not called Canada. If you're a Canadian, you should be from Canada. It doesn't make any sense.
Alabama.
Alabamians. Alabamians.
Okay, touche.
You kind of just proved your own point, James.
I did.
So Canada still has
Florida. Floridian.
Yeah, but Florida doesn't do anything right. So don't use them as an example.
Fair point.
Let's just call them our Canadians. Fucking weird. It make no sense.
What are people from
I'm really jealous
Wyoming
of
called?
Florida for the weather. That's it. That's it.
No, not at all.
Hurricanes.
No.
And it's always hot and muggy.
No.
And there's no such
I just
thing
want to
as
be able to keep reptiles outside. That's all.
No.
I get that, but I don't get it enough to want to do it. Like,
Right. No, I would never move to Florida. Don't get me wrong.
It's like living in a sweaty asshole. It's just not pleasant. And then you have to be from Florida.
Florida is the flaccid dick hanging off the U.S.
That is true. Or, as I now know them as American Canadians. So
I don't think I've ever heard Florida referred to as that.
Yeah, it's catching on. You've heard it.
Yeah. It'll be somewhere next week, I promise.
Oh. So Jeff, how's your collection going?
Man, my collection has had its ups and downs, and I remember, I think about 2015, I was really getting into breeding and building a collection to breed. I kind of knew where I wanted to go with targets and stuff, and I was like, 2020 is going to be my year. Just like looking at the animals I had, some of like 1-2-year-old pythons, I really wanted to get some size on them and things like that. And, something happened in 2019 that we're all kind of aware of now.
So
that kind of.
I'm not sure what you're talking. It seems fine. I don't know.
Into the plane.
As a teacher, I didn't really notice a difference.
We talked about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, lots more time for that kind of stuff. But I think we all had this collective mind shift, and the way that we looked at the world and the way that we experienced life and everything. I think everybody was shaken up in that sense, and I think it did a lot of the same for me and my collection and the ways that I wanted to go. And I was still buying, selling snakes, things like that at the time. But I think it really made a direction change. And now I'm focusing the collection, bringing down the numbers. Right now I'm sitting about 20 snakes, and I have 2 that aren't here at my place, a few geckos and a tarantula.
Okay, I feel bad. You said you're bringing down the numbers while you have 20-something snakes, and
yeah,
I have more than that.
I think that one of the things that I posed to you, James, for this week as a little bit of a topic was like the overwhelm, right?
Yeah.
And somewhere around that 2015, 2016, 17 timeframe, I was thinking to myself, I've always had about 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, 10 snakes here or there since even before going to college. And getting back into the hobby kind of went a little bit harder into it and was kind of telling myself, 10 just feels right, right? Like 10 is a good number. I can handle these snakes. They have enough time that they're not getting stressed out when I'm handling them, but I'm not feeling stressed to do so with a ton of animals. And that was a time frame that I was weird amongst my friends who had larger collections because I've been going to reptile shows and things since '96. I was 15 something, somewhere around that time frame. And I friends with tons of snakes, and my thing was I could reach into any tub or cage or enclosure and pick up a snake with no hook or anything like that. It's just I had that kind of time to interact with them and everything. And when I started going down the road of breeding, you automatically just start picking up extra snakes, like you have a litter of Kenyan Sambos, and now you've somewhat doubled, tripled your numbers in some cases of anthony.
Well, I was just thinking, my boa constrictor had more babies this year than your collection.
Yeah,
exactly.
We were not planning for that either.
Right, and like I have one clutch, and my collection could double overnight.
Timothy, it's the python you think it is. It's what you think it is.
Oh, types of pythons that I had and work with.
Yeah.
So 2015, I was actually getting into Brettles and Jungles. And I had a small collection of ball pythons that I was working. I was targeting certain double gene recessive mutations that I'm actually still working on at a small scale and everything. So I've run the gamut. I had to get rid of my collection going into college because my mom was only comfortable working with smaller snakes. She had a few of her own at the time, a couple Honduran milk snakes, a few corn snakes. And she wasn't comfortable working with my retic that I had at the time.
They're very similar retics and milk snakes,
right? They were about the same size when it was the hatchling and they were full grown. So kind of had to have a reset there. I've had all over the place as far as pythons go. I a couple years ago lost my southern white-lipped python. That was a great animal. One of the most amazing snakes when it came to temperament. It was just the absolute anomaly when it came to white-lipped pythons, and that was one that I could reach in the enclosure and grab her out with no warning, which is if you know that type of animal, it's insane. And she lived a good long life. It's how snakes go. And unfortunately, when you keep a number of snakes, you lose a number of snakes, and when your attention wanes, you lose even more. So it's come and go along the way. But I still keep a small collection of ball pythons. My buddy Travis Wyman, myself, we love to shoot the shit when it comes to genetics and things like that, and what we see, what we like.
So I tried to get Travis to come on tonight, but he had to Travis had to go to some meeting for his kid, and kids suck, so I couldn't get him on tonight.
Well, yeah, no, Travis he's a great friend of mine. I love that guy. We absolutely give him a pass on ball pythons because when it comes to it, he treats it just like any of his anomaly species. It's just all over it.
Yeah, he keeps a lot of weird shit too, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's some of us that just kept the nose arch syndrome as we continued in the hobby. Right now I've got about 10 ball pythons, and that number fluctuates obviously with any clutches that I just decide to produce. I've got 2 jungle carpet pythons, just black and yellow. That's it, like solid animals. 3 Brettles pythons at the time, 2 corn snakes, an okity. I'll always have an okity corn snake in my collection.
Yeah.
Speckled king snake. And recently moved out some mandarin rat snakes and beard rat snake. So, yeah, I love all the species. I don't think we ever have enough time to keep all the ones we'd like to.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I'd like to keep, and then there's like a list of things I would like to keep, but I know I can't keep.
James does a great job keeping all the species that I want to keep.
Yeah. Do you know where they're located?
No, they're in the room. That's all I got.
Yeah. Someone's got to still feed them and clean after them.
You're such a great person.
Yeah.
I had dinner ready for you when you came home. I just want to remind you that.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Well, so on that, let's get to the question this week and see some of people's answers, because it was a long.
I answered.
Did you? Okay, maybe we'll skip one answer.
Nope. We're talking about that shit.
It says, what are signs that you may be getting burnt out keeping, and what are some things you can do to fix that?
Because you're gonna laugh when you read mine.
Not if I don't read it.
Because burnout's real. Like we
100%
really recognize that in the hobby and outside. But if it's burnt out outside, guess what's going to happen to your animals? Guess what's going to happen to your collection? It's going to show.
And I think that getting burnt out doesn't make you a bad keeper.
No,
like that shit just happens. But you got to be able to face it and realize it happened, and then do something about it.
I think burnout is another one of those things that people don't like to talk about. They don't like to talk about anything in the negative because it makes them look insufficient, or it makes them look not capable of being able to do things correctly. They don't want to talk about if they have deaths in their collection. They don't want to talk about, if they have illness in their collection. They don't want to talk about mites in their collection. They don't want to talk about the bad, because then it makes them look bad. And I feel like burnout is one of those things where we don't want to bring it up. We don't want to talk about it. Everybody is just peachy and moving on in their life. And when we talk about those things, it's negative. And I feel like it's that way in this hobby. It's that way with people's career choices, just everything in life. Burnout is very real.
Hell yeah, Katie. I mean, it's one of those things that once it starts to affect you in those ways, everything that comes alongside it is negative. And, it's really hard to sit with that for a lot of people. And I think, it ought to be. It's tough to sit with those emotions. But it's also tough to talk about it. So I give people a pass on that, on not wanting to bring it up. But also it's something that you may be able to support somebody without even knowing that you're doing so by speaking on those things. It's my friend Scott Borden. He and I feel very strongly about that. Like, hey, let's talk about it. Let's put it out there, because there might be somebody else that's dealing with it, and they might find a solution in us, or we might find a solution from them.
I agree.
Or we might just be there for each other.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I tell my students. They'll come up to me like at recess or at lunch, and they'll start complaining about something. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you need someone to listen to you, or do you need solutions? Like, what do you need me to be in this moment? Like today I had a kid that kept coming up to me, and finally I was like, hey, does this affect me at all? Do you need me to be involved in this situation? He was like, no. I was like, okay, then.
And then you're like, get fuck off.
Go play. Go do something in the sunshine. Like, come on.
Did you say fuck off?
I thought it in my brain.
Focus.
Get the fuck out of my face, kid.
But I'll tell James, I just need to listen to you. I just need you to listen to me complain. And I don't think he does. I think he tunes me out. But I feel better when I'm done.
I listen and I think, God, she's crazy.
What's that song we heard on the radio the other night?
I forget.
I don't remember, but it was perfect. It was.
Thanks, Darren. Pat just had a meal, and now he's roaming around.
Boiled rotten. He literally comes to this side of the glass and starts digging and scratching until James takes him out.
And now he's climbing up to bask.
Spoiled rotten.
So let's go through some of these people's, some of our listeners' answers and see what they said, and we'll talk more about it. Timothy Lesher said, signs you're getting burnt out, slacking on care, which I think is something we'll see over and over. Maintenance, the health of your animals, not looking forward to cleaning snake poop. I mean, okay.
Do you ever look forward to cleaning snake poop?
Because
if you do, I feel like that's a whole nother conversation we need to have. If you look forward to that.
Well, I think it's different. Like if I have to go clean 20-something baby tubs because they all ate 3 days ago and now they've all shit. I'm not looking forward to that. That's not fun. Plus, like, I don't know, the babies are fun to hold after the first 10, and then it's little bitey assholes keep going. I don't know. I get it.
Who was that comment, James? Who was that comment, Timothy?
Timothy Lesher.
Is that the Timothy in the chat?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Explain, Timothy.
He touches on a good point, though, that you're kind of getting at too, James. which is like cleaning up snake shit, right? Like none of us want to do it, but at the same time, like I was saying, it's an opportunity for a positive, right? And when it becomes a chore, like you're talking about with the hatchlings or the neonates in your case,
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's a sign. You know, if I'm not looking forward to going in and seeing these amazing animals that I've produced and experiencing this incredible thing, then maybe that's a sign that maybe it's a little too much.
It's a sign they're taking up cage space, and I want to have another amazing litter of babies so I can see what else I can get. I need the fuckers gone. And
we'll talk about chasing the next one at one point, I'm sure.
And they cost a lot to feed. Fucking rodents now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Timothy says also not interacting with your animals as much is a sign. I says, when I get burnt out, I always go back to all the excitement I had from my younger days, dreaming of having what I have now. And the burnout is replaced with joy and appreciation. Reflection on what got you started in the first place. Take time, sit and just look at how amazing it is. For some, they have gotten their collection over what they may have gotten their collection over what they can handle. They may need to downsize, like I said, to a number of animals that's more manageable for themselves.
So it's funny that you say that, because I have 7 different animals in my classroom. And one of them is my corn snake, who I've had now for 13, 14 years. Yeah, because I got her when I went into teaching. She when I left the zoo, she left with me because she had been a donated pet. And so if I'm having a bad day, I'll go take Luna out and I'll just randomly hold her while I'm teaching. Like my kids it doesn't even faze them anymore when I have her. And so James asked me the other day, he's like, so how much do you actually handle her? And I'm like, I handle her like 3 times a week, way more than I handle my guinea pig, which is totally more of a human interaction animal.
Yeah, but you're less likely to get peed on by the snake.
I'm also allergic to my guinea pig, so I'm not going to have a sneezing attack after I hold the corn snake. But my co-teacher comes in and she'll randomly kidnap the guinea pig for the afternoon. So she gets love. Don't think trust me, she's spoiled rotten. But
I'm sure the kids are always happy to help with that too.
Oh yeah. She gets a snack every day at snack time, just like the rest of us. So
I mean, that used to be a major selling point for snakes, is like hypoallergenic.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I tell people all the time. But oh yeah, she gets handled. The bearded dragon is starting to get handled as much as she does, because he's a little over a year old now, and he's much more comfortable around like the noise in the classroom, and
calmer now because he's older.
He's finally in the window. I moved my box turtle out of my class window from the hallway, and when I tell you that second graders started to revolt, they were like knocking on my door wanting to know where the turtle was. And I was like, she's on that side of the room.
Should have said it died.
I'm like, I just that's what one of my kids wanted me to say. I was like, absolutely not. That is mean and hateful.
Yeah.
I got a turtle shell you can borrow. Make a little memorial.
No.
I bet I can find a turtle shell to print.
No, I'm not freaking out the kids at school. But yeah, it was funny. They were not happy that the animal in the window changed. Like, I thought it would be cool. I was wrong.
Listen, some of those kids, especially that spectrum, you can't change their normality.
That's what I'd done. I even had like some of my like teachers' aides, when they'd walk by, they were like, where did the turtle go? I'm like, she's over
And that's
there.
when they need to be taught the phrase, get the fuck over.
No, the train fans, the little kids that play with trains, they're going to be after you.
Yeah, it was funny.
All right, so I have a novel here to read from Christina Lynn Peters. It says, when it feels like a chore to hold and hang with your reptiles, they're always reptile chores, but when the reptile becomes the chore, it is when I feel burnout is happening. I have a nasty habit of intentionally overloading every aspect of my life, from work to home life. Katie.
Don't call me out like that.
But I always felt as if my reptiles and other pets were the part of my life that I always wanted the most and now treasure the most. They're kind of my escape from dumb people in the world. It's so hard to get away from dumb people. Personally, when it comes to preventing burnout for me, not only have I learned where my limits are, but also I don't know if there is a part of me that will burn out on something just because of everything in my life. From working 50 to 70 hours a week, coaching young kids sports, raising a teen. I can tell you that part.
That right there burns me out on a daily basis.
She said raising a teen I wasn't prepared for.
Are you ever really prepared?
Taking care of my 20 plus animals and somehow making sure that I have clean dishes and laundry. But the big lesson I learned a few years ago was to keep what I love to do and work separate. I was a dog groomer for 2 years, and I had worked in a vet and animal care for 2 years prior to that. When I worked in those jobs, I quickly noticed my love for my dog started to go away. This is one of the biggest reasons I would never become a breeder unless it was very on the side and had no intention of making a living, kind of like myself, like me. Sorry for my life story. Hoping someone can relate.
Very long post.
It was.
I just looked over and was like,
I know. I can agree though with
Shout
her.
out Christina in the chat.
I know. Yeah. That's awesome. So
I can agree with her because as a zookeeper, my collection probably suffered the most when I worked for the zoo.
I agree with that 100%.
You
were miserable.
Not just that. You know, I was a designer. I was a graphic designer and art director for 15 years, and I was an artist before that. You know, I went to school and everything for it, and I never wanted to do it. I never had the energy for it. The creative spark was just burned out. So, you know, it's one of those things that you might carry that job back home with you and just be out the energy. The last thing the garbage man wants to do is take out the trash when he gets home from work.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just me.
It's all the time it is.
It's very possible. And I'm accepting that in my life at this point. I feel like my burnouts rotate. For example,
well, probably because you quit doing something for a while, and so then it becomes more interesting months later.
I think that's what it is. Because I get burned out with school, and about the time I start to get burned out, it's time for summer break again. And then after the summer, I'm good to go.
I know I got burned out somewhere around September when we started.
No, I do okay. But then like right now, I'm like in the middle of reading a series that I'm really involved in. But I have a feeling when I'm to finally finish the series, I'm going to need a break and I'm going to kind of be burned out. And so I hop around to different genres a lot. Like I get burned out on different types of music that we listen to in the car. Like if I have to listen to the Beetlejuice soundtrack one more freaking time on the way to school, I might stab somebody in the eyeball.
Oh, no, that's probably better than listening to Christmas music starting in October.
I mean, I did that too, but only when I was by myself because I know you don't like it. But no, like I'm not.
The seasons, you know, there's a seasonality to everything.
It makes me happy, so I do it. That's also where I am at this point in my life.
We talk about it with our animals and the breeding seasons and the feeding seasons and things like that, and how it all affects them information and whatnot. But it's true of us as humans. Like we have the seasonality and these cycles that go along with the lights and everything. So it's your dopamine, your serotonin are going to chase different things at different times of the year.
Or a month. Or different times of the month.
Yeah. Shout out Christina. Christina, no need to be sorry. I, for one, appreciate your thorough post. And
I loved it.
No, it was good.
I loved it.
Kyle in the chat says, up until recently, I haven't hooked up my Mist King because I enjoy the spraying process. Recently, my furnace has been affecting things more, though. I take it as a time to spray, say hi, and tease the Japanese rat snakes. Yes, but I'm telling you, the Mist King on these lizards has been fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think I could have done the chameleon without a Mist King.
No.
It's just so much easier to have it go off in the morning, go off in the evening, and know that he's taken care of.
Well, and because as much as I would love for it to be, our sleep schedule and our evening schedules are never the same day to day.
No.
Because I never know what afternoon function our kid is going to have.
Too many.
I never know what activity you were at. Like you decided to stay late. You were at your school till what, like 5:30 tonight?
Yeah, because I had like actually work.
I figured you were grading papers, so I
was making study guides.
I tried not to text you as much as possible.
Making study guides for 2 different things that I teach yet.
But yeah, it's I don't know.
Ashley Howdy's the next one. Here we go. Our friend Ashley Howdy from Focus Cube, who I haven't pointed out in forever, so I just want to point the amazing sign behind us that says the Reptile Gumbo podcast on air. The sign was made by the Howdies. Still one of the coolest things I've ever received ever.
Not plugged in.
No, it is. I don't know where the remote currently is. You clean and then I lose things every time.
I didn't touch the remote.
You say that.
Shout out Kyle in the chat talking about his Japanese rat snakes. Was it Climacophora? I love those things.
Those are cool.
Are some of my favorite to keep. They're so fun to watch the behavior on and everything. Those and Russian rat snakes.
I'm just not a huge fan of asshole Asian rat snakes of any sort.
Oh no, Japanese rats are cool, and they only, especially the Kunishiro Islands, they only get about 4 feet. They're awesome little snakes.
I've experienced red-tailed green rats, and they're fucking assholes.
Oh yeah,
and they get big for a rat snake. I mean, they're skinny, but they get long. Ashley said, when it becomes work rather than a hobby or pastime. What is she talking about? Her work is Anyways, too many animals or too much to do. A remedy that helps me is to spend quality time with other keepers and get out to enjoy another interest to let off steam and get the motivation rolling again. I guess animal keeping is not her job. It's building cages is her job. So
Yeah, and I'm so envious of you guys for the Herb shows. Honestly, like hearing y'all talk about the Herb's family and everything, and Sean and the people there, and Sean, what's his wife's name? Lori.
Lori,
Lori, Sean, and Lori, great folks doing great things down there with the Herb shows. I'm totally envious. Like we had great shows up here. We had the Mars show, Mid Atlantic Reptile show. That was in Timonium back in the day. It was a fantastic show, 2 day show. But we don't get a lot of 2 day shows up here.
yeah.
And reptile shows are such a great opportunity to interact with the community, provided you don't have to run across too many, Python Regis folks out there.
Ball python. You say ball
But
python. Don't try to sound fancy here.
there you go. Ball python or crested gecko folks out there. But it's a great opportunity to connect with like-minded folks and just sort of bolster that feeling you've got and that spark that you've got for the hobby. And I've noticed it. And, going to the carpet fests. Used to attend the Northeast Carpet Fest pretty often, and it's just a great time, and you feel motivated in the hobby for a couple months off of something like that sometimes.
Well, like the problem with I would see with a 1 day show, because again, all of our shows down here are 2 day shows. The problem with a 1 day show is you're so busy trying to sell stuff. If you're going there to vend, you've got that 1 day to vend, so you can't go spend a ton of time with everybody. And then, the great thing is on a 2 day show, Saturday night you get to hang out with everybody, go out and eat, hang out at the hotel. But if you're on a 1 day show, you pack up from the show, you got a car full of animals, and you're gonna drive home. Like you can't go eat with anybody, you can't go hang out with anybody. No. That's my favorite part.
It's 100% more social
for us because it's not a job.
For vendors because it's not. Yeah,
because it's not a job. Now, if you're someone who it's your full time job, it's a little different, but you can still have fun. But for me, I go.
Even a lot of those people are still having fun.
Yeah,
honestly, I think there are people that have passed that point of burnout that are doing it not as a hobby, that are now doing it professionally. And it shows, every so often you'll see a big collection go up for sale.
That's funny. The next one is Todd Autry said selling off your collection, which is something we see.
Yeah, see it all the time, especially after people started going back to work, getting back in the office and everything. And then the price of rodents went sky high.
Jeez.
I think everywhere across the U.S. it's up.
You started to see the non-reptile people who bought a bunch of snakes in 2020, 2021, who, again, it was always, for them, honestly, it was always a job or always a chore. It was never a passion. And then they realized that chore doesn't pay off what they thought it was going to. Right?
Absolutely not.
It needs to pay off in the pleasure you get from it, and any money you get from it's awesome. If you're expecting to be rich, there's like 5 people that get to do that, and you're probably not going to be one of them.
But there's even folks, like I was saying, that do this as a full-time job, and they're just 1,000% passionate. Like, don't get me wrong, I've talked shit about Brian Barczyk in the past before, but I met the guy way back when, and 1,000% real deal. What you see is what you get. And there are others like that this is their full-time job, and they're just as into it and just as passionate. And hey, I'm jealous. I wish I was that way, but it ain't like that for everybody.
Yeah. James Berry says, let me click this to see how big his story is. Oh, it's not as bad. It says, I've went from about 4 to 5 snakes to 10 in just this year. Those are rookie numbers, man. I've realized that I need to figure out how to normalize taking care of my collection since it's increased. No feeling of burnout. I still love what I do, but running through everything in your head about feeding, cleaning, etc., can be a task. I always say, so if you're someone who has even if you don't have a reptile room, but it's easier if you have a reptile room. If anytime you walk into your room, do something, whether it's top off a handful of water bowls or spot clean some stuff or just move things around, do something, because it does. I'm guilty of this all the time because I'm a procrastinator. I have to go into my reptile room for like 2 or 3 hours sometimes because I didn't go in there for like 2 days. So then I have to go in and do 2 or 3 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah,
whereas if I just would have gone in every day and done 30 minutes,
15 minutes.
It wouldn't be a problem. So
yeah, it's tough sometimes. You got to understand that. People, I think all of us understand that we all hit a wall sometimes where 15 minutes a day is tough to give up.
Yeah.
you know, and we can splurge on the weekend and give it 3 hours to really deep clean things and, you know, get things where we want them. But it happens.
Timothy, yeah, checking thermostats and heat. Go buy a temp gun. If you don't have a temp gun, go to Lowe's or go on Amazon and buy you one of those little temp guns with a little laser on the end of it that you can hold in your hand and shoot it, whatever. Check temps, especially if you have PVC racks with heat tape hidden all the way in the back. Once a week, scan that temp because
there's a lot of folks that are using racks that are have the same heat tape on one thermostat, like multiple heat tape units on one thermostat.
Yeah.
You know, and something like that, you really got to keep an eye on it. Like, it's possible you can do it, but you really got to keep an eye on it, and that's something you got to be checking every day.
I've never felt comfortable doing that. Just I like having one heat source for one thermostat. That way, I know that if there's I don't get like a surge in one, and this one's only monitoring that one, but that one's still getting hot over. It scares crap out of me. So I had a scare shortly after we moved here. I realized that my ball pythons weren't eating. And then I realized, oh shit, they're all hanging out in front of the tubs. And I scanned the back and it was like 100-something degrees. And I realized the probe had come off the heat tape. And the bottom of the tubs had turned a little bit yellow. You can see where the heat had gotten to it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens more often than people like to admit, honestly.
Yeah.
Again, this goes back to we need to normalize talking about negative things so that everybody realizes, hey, this happens to a lot of people, even people that have been doing this for 20-something
people
years.
I know that have had collections for 20, 30 years have had fires start in their rooms because of simple thermostat got knocked off.
Yeah. And that's not anything bad. That's not saying anything negative. No. Nothing.
And as far as like fire goes and everything, that's something, you know, that I really don't think gets talked about or spoken about often enough in the hobby is, you know, how much of a risk some of these items that we have, some of the electrical items and things like that really pose for fire. Yeah. And I would absolutely suggest that folks look into fire suppression. There are fire suppression units like a fire extinguisher that goes off with a certain temperature for campers and things like that. And I think something like that could be a worthwhile investment for a snake room. Like,
yeah, don't they feel like a little ball or something that does that?
Yeah, exactly. You just mount it on the ceiling.
That's a good idea.
You know, it's something like that, or even smoke detectors. Like, how many people actually even have smoke detectors in their snake room?
We don't talk about smoke detectors in this house because if my kitchen gets too hot, they all go off. I don't even have to have smoke. It's just a heat.
Yeah, they all go off.
I disassembled the one in our kitchen because of that reason. Like, I couldn't open my oven door without setting off the smoke alarm on the other side.
Timothy brings up a really good point about understanding how much your outlets and breakers can take. Like, if you're on a 14 gauge wire going around your snake room and you got 8 or 9 tanks plugged into that thing, you're stressing that breaker. You know, you're on a 15 amp breaker.
Fun fact, I cannot run my heat press and my iron at the same time.
That is true. That will definitely blow our breaker.
I did.
And stop my 3D printer mid-print.
Yep. Found that out the other night. I was like, whoops.
Yeah,
let's move the iron back to the hallway.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of power strips out there being used, hooked into other power strips. And a lot of
I don't do that, though. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere and I completely forgot. Oh, so I don't know if there's any other reptile people do this, but are you ever driving home and then you see like a plume of smoke in the general direction of where your home is, and your thought is, I really fucking hope my house didn't catch on fire? Because like I think that every time.
I don't worry about it.
Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I got all those snake cages.
Yeah.
I really hope my shit didn't catch on fire.
I don't do that when I see smoke. I do that when I'm on my way home and a fire truck drives past me. I'm like, please don't turn into my neighborhood.
I just pull up my camera
on the same street as the fire department for the past 15 years. I'm immune to it.
Nice. Now. I pull up our security camera, and if it's still working, I'm like, all right, no, we're good. House it on fire. So, our next one is from this Katie Broussard Lewis.
It's funny shit, man. Read it.
She says, when you don't care if the parents eat the eggs anymore.
I'm done with newts. They can eat all their babies. I don't care anymore. I want them all
has to be
fucking gone.
She had to have laid 300 plus eggs.
All I did was change their water. I cleaned their tank for them so they would have a nice, clean environment. And this is how she repays me.
Yeah, they get frisky.
I'm going to flush them down the
problem is not they eat the babies when they hatch. The problem is what you can't see.
Goo.
You can't see it.
Goo.
Well, that's the problem is you can't see it when it's in the water. It's not until you take it out and you realize that there's giant masses of goo.
It's so awful. And it sticks to the filter. And it's like this huge snot wad on it. Bleh.
You guys are putting the Gumbo and Reptile Gumbo podcast.
It's so, I'm done. I'm freaking done with
this is the friskiest newts I've ever seen. Jesus Christ.
I'm done. We're going to sell the ones.
That used to be the move when we were teenagers. We'd keep catch black widows and just take the egg sack, and we just let the babies eat one another until you had basically the number you wanted.
We can do that. We do that with the newts, but then we got one newt. We have our one $300 newt who ate all.
He's in a tank by himself now.
It is impressive to know that one newt can eat every other newt.
Yeah.
And
I kind of want to take all the ones that are left. Go ahead.
Jaron in the chat is saying use a fan in the kitchen when the oven is on to prevent the detector from going off.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. I've even had the back door open and moved like fans into the room to keep air circulating, and it still will go off.
Well, honestly, it's not even the one in the kitchen because that one's unplugged. It's the one in our bedroom that goes off, and then it sets off the ones upstairs, and then it's just an entire off-sync screaming of fire alarms.
Yeah. Last night was the first time. We've been in this house for 3 years now, 3.5. Last night was the first time that I was able to cook in my kitchen and not set fire alarms off.
That's not true. Cook hamburgers.
Cook burgers in the kitchen because I had the back door open the whole time and it was 37 degrees outside. I couldn't feel my toes when I was done cooking dinner.
Over that thing a long time ago.
Huh?
A little square of insulation, just pop it right over top of it. I'd have done that a long time ago. You gotta be able to cook.
It's a pain in the ass. Bruce Carpenter says, I like to bask in UV. So that was kind of a joke. I juggle enough interests that I find them all enjoyable, and I suppose I narrowed those interests down to my very favorite ones over the years. If you're burnt out, you put too much on your plate. It's that simple, Katie. Moving on. What? Our buddy Jack, who's I really miss that little dude.
I don't like saying no.
I really miss that little dude.
I do miss Jack a lot.
It's been a month with him.
I know.
Oh, Jack. They just put in new kennels in his doggy daycare. I don't know how much money he makes, but apparently a doggy daycare in the Netherlands leaves you with a pretty good life.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think life in the Netherlands is pretty decent. I know owning a car there is super expensive because of taxes and everything that are involved with it. Your taxes for your car in the Netherlands can be as much as your car payment every month.
Yikes.
It's insane. But they also kind of take care of their people otherwise.
But you know what they don't have?
Free refills.
Free refills. They don't have free refills.
He texted us the other day. He's like, I miss this.
Yeah, he shows this little tiny glass bottle of Coke, and that's what I'm like, that's all he got. I was like, sorry, man.
You can only buy 1 liters in their stores.
Jeez. I'll pass. I'll go visit them, and then I'll bitch the entire time I'm there when I have to pay for multiple drinks.
And they won't give you ice, James. They don't give you ice in the drink because the Dutch they're kind of thrifty people, so they think that it's stealing to put ice in your drink to water it down.
Feel free. It's more liquid because I'm only getting a small bottle of Coke. At that point, I'll just be happy for some Coke flavored water. Jack said slacking on care and interaction with your animals. To fix it, focus your collection. Just keep the animals you really like. Most of the time, I think it's because of the amount of animals you have in your collection, which is true. I don't think I've ever had any burnout because of the animals I keep. It's definitely been because of the time it takes to take care of that number of animals. There's been issues.
I've had colubrids be stressful before because a lot of colubrids, the digestive systems, they really want to eat more frequently. And I've had some that want to eat every 3 or 4 days. It's not even about the waste, but keeping up with that feeding and everything can be a lot.
Yeah.
Especially as you're starting to go through those feeders. Granted, they're smaller generally, but it's a lot to keep up with when you're doing frozen thawed, especially. If I had a live colony that I could just pluck something from and toss it in there, no problem. But pythons tend to be a little bit more appealing when they can go a couple weeks as a healthy diet.
Yeah. That's why I like my boas. I can feed them like my adults. I can feed them about once a month. I give them a nice big rat once a month, and they stay nice and plump. If I get these two fucking motleys, I got two adult female motleys who decided to go on a hunger strike though, and they're both. It's just the motleys, no other boas. I think the gene is defective. They both decided they don't want to eat right now.
What locality is the motley from?
They're Colombians.
Okay.
But one, you would think would want to eat because she just had a bunch of babies, and she's like, I got her to take a rat last feeding. I was like, awesome. And I came back to check her a couple hours later. I was like, oh, she ate it. And I was like, no, she was just laying on top of it. I was like, you son of a bitch. So I'm trying to, I can't get weight put back on her because she won't eat right now. So
has it been really dry there? Dry in your snake room?
I mean, as dry as it can be living in around Houston, Texas, where it's a swamp, it's still pretty humid.
I mean, DC is a swamp. I'm not in the city, but I'm Southern Maryland. It's pretty humid down here. But with my heaters going, my leopard gecko enclosures are 20% humidity.
I think we've run the heater for about 3 hours total so far in the last month.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And it was really just so that the smell would go away, so that if I did have to turn it on before I went to bed, I didn't smell it for the first time when I was going to bed.
That's where Christina said her high there was 37. I was like, no, I'll pass.
Yeah.
She's in Idaho, isn't she? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Katie, do you know where Idaho's located?
We talked about this last week.
Do you still know where it's located now? Oh, okay, just making sure. Do you know where Arizona's located?
Be an asshole.
Okay. That's what I'm really good at.
I know.
Kyle said, I limit how many animals I keep. I don't breed, so it'll never be a job for me. I get that. I spend time doing other things like hang with dogs, play video games. That's how I know Kyle doesn't have kids, because I haven't played a video game since I've had a kid. Or chat.
That's not true. You play video games with your kid.
Like once in a blue moon.
It's not my fault.
And I definitely fucking haven't happened anymore because now she's hit her teenage years and she's a pain in the fucking ass. Just said, or chat with my reptile people about new species. There's always something new to learn in this discipline. That's true, Kyle. And then Norm said, have a heart attack. That'll definitely change how you take care of stuff. That is true.
Everything about it.
You know what, Norm? It's because you eat ketchup chips. That's the heart attack. It was from ketchup chips. I know the doctors didn't tell you that because they didn't want to hurt your feelings, but it's the ketchup chips. So stop doing that and stop living in Oklahoma. Oh, yes, see, Kyle said I have no kids. Yes, he's got time to play video games. I've got a wife who wants me to hang out with her.
No, I don't have kids.
Yeah, being an uncle's great.
Yes, you have a wife that wants to hang out with you. I've been stuck with you for almost 20 years. Damn it.
Gross.
You're my best friend, James. I have no life.
That's called codependency, folks.
Gross.
Hey, I'm trying to make friends in the upcoming year.
Where?
I have messaged Megan and about 12 other people.
Oh, it's Megan's birthday, by the way.
I know.
Happy birthday to
I'm
our
not
friend
at
Megan.
dinner with her
Slap bitch.
because I'm doing this podcast.
Slap you, Meg.
It was at a fancy restaurant in Houston.
Slobodick?
I could have
Something like that.
dressed up and everything.
With what money were you?
I feel like you got a pretty good. I feel like you got a pretty good female support base there at the herp shows and everything too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that translates outside of the herp shows.
I don't really fit in super well with a lot of people in the reptile world because it's not my whole life. I am very good friends with a lot of people.
But you fit in well
to them.
with Hayden, our buddy Hayden.
I do.
Becca.
Because we have other similarities in common.
That's true.
Like books and crafts. And
you don't fit in
like
with
that.
the stereotypical reptile people.
I don't, because I don't want to get drunk all night and I don't want to stay up and party.
Yeah, but I don't really. When I do hang out with you, I laugh at them.
And I'm perfectly fine with going to bed at a decent hour.
God, yes, you are. It's annoying as hell.
And I don't have time for drama in my life. I'm too old for that. Anyways.
Darren asked in the chat, what's the longest time any of you have been away from the hobby? I was out of it for 3 years.
Darren only has 2 snakes.
That's true.
So
Darren, you don't count.
Does that really
I don't
count?
even know if you're in the hobby, Darren. With 2 snakes, I
was down to 1 snake for 5 years. I did two snakes for 5 years. One I wasn't taking care of.
I don't think in the 20 years we've been together,
I've never been out of the hobby.
You've been less than 50.
That's not true. When we got together, I was at like 15. No, when we got together, I was at like 2.
You just had Ozzy and Izzy.
I had those 2 doom rolls that were a pain in the ass. But
then we went to Daytona on vacation with your parents, and we came home with a ton of shit.
We came home with we went from like 2 to
12.
It was quite a bit.
12.
I think we came back with like 5.
1 to 10. 1 to
yeah.
10.
Yeah. There's no.
Because we came back with like 5 or 6 corn snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, I got sand boas. Mm-hmm. And then I got that giant pair of boas.
We got rosy boas on that trip.
I got rosy boas. I think I picked up the females. The female rainbow, I think, was the next year.
Yeah.
Ugh, man, that was forever ago.
So, yeah, it's been a minute.
See, wow. I had only my BCI for nearly 26 years and probably a decade with only her. Wow.
That's impressive. Wow. We don't even have just one fish.
Well, that's because we kept fucking and having more fish.
Oh my God, there's so many yellowfish in that tank.
So many yellowfish.
Oh. And now
how many more comments you got there?
Huh?
In the Facebook. How many more comments you got on Facebook?
That's it. We're good.
Look at him getting us back on task.
We're good.
No, I'm with you.
We can get way.
I'm gonna take a tangent on it.
Go.
I don't want to take us too far away from the chat and everything, but I think that with some folks, they need to realize where their passion lies in the hobby. And I think that a lot of folks are really initially drawn with that bit of collectoritis, like whether a lot of us want to admit it or not, we got to catch them all.
Yeah.
And for some people that pervades throughout their stay in the hobby, where it's really about the next, the brightest, the newest, the next step, next level up. And I think some people don't know that that's not the only direction or route that you can go in the hobby. It's not just like you can keep buying, or you can start selling and breeding. But there's a lot of different directions that you can go in the hobby. And I think, James, something with you recently with the skinks and then the chameleon and taking that little detour, something like that can just add just enough flavor back into it that it can really set you back on a different track, or maybe that collecting goes a little bit of a different direction for a second, and you just focus on snakes a different way. But I think there's different avenues to take, like setting up vivariums, live keeping, live vivariums, things like that. Keeping and breeding, of course, but also us with the 3D printers, tinkering on things and trying to figure out the next best, greatest innovation or something that just makes our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
You mean not just printing a whole bunch of little benchies nonstop?
It's so adorable.
Look, it's a spider ornament.
Well, that's the messed up one, but
goddamn copyright claim.
That is so cute. We're gonna re-tinsel the Christmas spider, and then I'm gonna give everybody an ornament.
Yeah, that's for Katie's.
I'm so excited.
Making a little spider ornament for all of her kids.
We normally make one every year, but I don't really have time to do that with everything else I want to do this year. So I cheated and had James make them for us. We still got to make the crabs.
When does that do?
Tuesday.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Oh, boy. Y'all better get on.
I got a
thing to do.
Shit.
Oh, you're going to 3D print them?
Huh?
You going to print them?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to craft. Okay.
I thought
you were going to craft them.
Which I'm now trying to think of when I have time to print them, but yeah.
We can do it this weekend. I'll go buy more filament.
Well, that's not I got a show on Sunday.
Okay. Well, then Sunday we can start printing them.
That's true.
Set up your cloud printer.
And I was going to say, I can change them out if I'm home.
I forgot I need to double check with Robert to make sure we're still doing that show.
No, so my zoology class, because last year we did the tradition of the Christmas spider for zoology club. And so this year we're going to do Christmas crabs, even though they have nothing to do with Christmas and just live on Christmas Island. They're still fun to learn about. So the whole meeting next week is going to be geared around Christmas crabs. And then I'm going to give them a crab ornament. Last year we took bells and made spiders with pipe cleaners and bells and googly eyes. And so they made a spider ornament last year. It's one of my favorite Christmas folklore tales.
Katie, you're going to fuck around and get some kid's parent to burn down their Christmas tree because they're gonna stick that ornament up there.
Well, that's why it has a cute little Santa hat and it doesn't look real because the other one he made me looks like a real spider on the tree.
It does not look like a real spider,
It does a little bit.
It does. It's a 3D
I'm like,
spider.
this won't work.
James is gonna be driving home, see the cloud of smoke coming up, thinking it's his house, but no, it's your kid's parent burning down the tree because the spiders on it.
She sent me this one that she wanted. She says, I want you to print this. I want you to print this. So I finally printed it. She goes, I don't like that one. It's like,
that's why I said just print one so I could see. It's cute, and I'm sure you would sell it at a show, but
I will. I've printed a couple of them.
It's not what I had in my mind. This is perfect. She's precious.
Timothy, the fire suppressors that I was talking about, I see your question in the chat, was more like for RVs or campers.
It's like a little ball. I've seen it before. Right?
Caravan. Yeah,
it explodes when it gets hot.
To a ceiling.
Yeah. Yep. And it releases like the powder.
Storage containers, stuff like that.
But
yeah, I mean, you might be dealing with some toxic stuff, but it's like they tell you when you're taking CPR, you can't fix dead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that you can deal with.
I can wash snakes off and try and save them that way, but you can't save them once they're crispy.
Nope.
So, plus, this is gonna sound heartless, but I'd rather all my snakes burn to death than my entire house burn down. It's like or die from the suppressant than my entire house burn down. So that would suck. Although they wouldn't, because I have animals in every fucking room of the house. So if it's fine. It's just,
there you go. You save the ones you can.
But
my students always ask me in a fire drill situation, what are we going to do with the animals? And I'm like, this is going to upset several of you. Those are not my goal. My goal is to get you out safely.
Oh, you're nicer than me because I want to save them. And
I'm like, I got to get you out of the building first.
That's why I tell our kids when we do those like shooter drills, like, this is what we're doing in this drill. But if a shooter comes, you can either stay here or you can follow me.
Yeah.
I'm getting the fuck out of here. Because like my school and where I'm located is perfect for that. We sit on like 20 something acres and we're several buildings. And if a shooting starts in another building,
well, and you're right there.
I'm right next to the door.
You're right next to the exit door to get out.
I'm like, I'm not sitting around waiting. I'm gone. Whereas like one of the newer schools they built here is a fucking fishbowl. Every wall for a room is glass. And I'm like, this was not thought out very well. How do you can't even do a shooter drill here because it's all.
It would be nice, but that's just not America.
No,
sorry.
Well, that's why they built the newest high school. They did not do that again. They went back to cinder block walls.
Yeah,
and small doors with small windows.
It's look, man, it's a shame. I wonder though, down the line, because we look back on like the bomb drill videos and things like that and laugh at them.
Yes, where we had to get under our desks.
Oh yeah,
because that was going to help save us.
Like 20 years, the statute of limitations for jokes is off the table, and those videos are going to be ripe for the picking for us. The active shooter.
Timothy, I saw you. I just said, yeah, the picture you here. I'll even put it up on the camera here. This is what we were talking about. Yes, those little fire suppression balls, they will explode.
I will say, with full transparency, I have never used or tested any of these things.
But gotta be better than nothing.
Listen, is it $40-$50? Probably something around that. What's the insurance worth?
Yeah.
If it works great.
Your peace of mind.
You burned up more than $40 in that room.
Yeah.
Well, how many houses have a fire extinguisher? Just a fire extinguisher also. Like, I think we have one.
We do.
Is it
under the sink? Yes, ours is. It's under the sink.
Yeah.
Can you go to a fire department and they can check that for you?
Yes,
they can. Used to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone needs a fire extinguisher. Even if you if you burn a turkey.
Yeah.
You need a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and for my day job, I'm in charge of the facility at a park. So it's a national park property, and I'm in charge of all the facility stuff there. And one of the things we always have to look out for, like fire safety, things like that, is every year we're getting our fire extinguishers tested and checked, and if needed, recharged. But also keeping an eye out for paths to make your exit. Things like that. So many things, especially in our snake room, get laid in the way, or it becomes a dumping ground if we're not in and out of there every day. Even those carts get in our way, and something like that. When it comes time to you're grabbing your animals to get them out in the case of an evacuation, it can really make the difference for, who knows, 1, 2, 10, 20 snakes.
So I do miss my old snake room. It was massive, and I had plenty of room to move around. This one is definitely not as nice. Yeah, Timothy. Yeah, little fire extinguishers. Those are great to have.
And I bet there's programs for those sorts of things as well.
I would imagine.
Fire extinguisher.
Oh God, I'm just dying over here.
You really are, and it's concerning. It's the sinus drainage.
I also have decided that
keep that shit to yourself.
I may have decided I'm just going to die from diabetes. I think
you need to reach out to your doctor again, and we will have this conversation when we're not on the podcast.
No, I'm just going to let the rest of the world know that I'm going to lose feet at some point. It's cool. I'll just get a hub around.
I'll write you a really good story about how it happened with an alligator, Chinese alligator, maybe.
The Chinese alligator bit my feet off.
We made it an
Has
hour
anybody
and
mentioned?
5 minutes.
There we go.
Thanks, Jeff.
I went to feed him last night. He was asleep, and I put
He's so spoiled.
I put a pellet in front of him and like right up next to his mouth, and he grabbed it with his eyes still closed and like didn't move. I think he grabbed it in his sleep.
He did so awesome.
Fire extinguishers each floor.
Damn, Darren.
That's right. Taking him to school.
Did we talk about taking him to school last week? I can't remember.
Yeah, I took him and I took 2 pine snakes. It went well.
Because it was Wednesday of last week and we recorded on Tuesday.
So I took him for my school and it went well. Got to show him off. And then I took 2 pine snakes. I will say, and I think we've mentioned this before, especially whenever we have like people that do education programs. For anybody out there listening, if you ever are going to be the person that takes reptiles or something for people to see, take multiples. So I took 2 pine snakes with the idea of I don't know which one is going to have a good day. And I'm glad I took 2 because one was not having a good day. And I took her out and she like flung and I was like, shit. So I put her back in the tub. And then like the next day, someone's like, I had like several people, I heard you got bit or heard you got attacked by your snake. I was like, no, she flung out of my hands. I picked her up and I put her back in a tub. I'm sure like by the end of the week, it was like this 30-foot snake had him halfway down her mouth. But take multiple animals for that because she was not happy. But the male pine snake did amazing because then I took him to Katie's school for a bunch of little kids who were much better than my kids.
They're wonderful. I love my zoology kids.
Your zoology kids ask good questions.
And my sweet little first grade baby that got to stay. So the pre-K, kindergarten, and first graders don't get to stay after school for our meetings. But when I have speakers come in that bring things, they're invited to come back after school with a parent. So a parent has to stay with them. My 2nd through 5th graders can just stay. It's fine. Because I've taught 2nd through 5th grade. I have not taught younger than 2nd. And I don't want to do that.
The attention span isn't there until 2nd or 3rd grade. Anyway.
But she sat right up front, asked great questions.
She's 1 out of 100 first graders there that probably do it. Like it's not.
Oh yeah.
But no, they did. They actually asked questions. I showed five of my 6 classes the animals because 1 decided to be assholes, and so I told them, hey, you don't see anything. And when you're like, all right, guys, questions, nothing, just nothing, just nothing. I'm like, unless they want to ask like. They didn't. I'll tell you that. Even this time, they didn't ask the stupid off the wall stuff. Like I would have answered anything, nothing. But your kids had pretty good questions, and your kids actually, some of them knew the answers to some of the questions.
They did, and some of them were very upset when he would give fun facts before they could share.
No, you ruined that, not me.
Didn't know.
You ruined.
I didn't know. That's what she was going for.
What was her thing?
Aurora. She wanted to talk about the 3rd eyelid on alligators. She was like, "Oh, that's what I was going to say." I was like, "I'm really sorry."
3rd eyelid.
I've got the 3rd eye. I think she's talking about
first eye. No, she's
alligators have a top and bottom that close and meet in the middle.
I don't go look at my eyelids and look at the what top. It's 1,
and then the nictitating membrane is the 3rd eyelid.
This is 2nd. I feel like your counting is weird.
Agree to disagree.
I'll give it to you, Katie. It's not a state. I've got a buddy, really good friend of mine. If you went to school in the Washington, D.C. area, especially Maryland, most likely was the big snake guy that came to your school. And that's actually where I started learning about Chinese alligators. He's got some animals like that, and I won't disclose his location. But he has a thing for kids in the crowd because he is the most patient, soft-spoken, and calm guy you're going to talk to but kids are balls of energy and they just want to share everything that they know, as you know, Katie.
Yes.
And he sees the hand goes up and he says, "Your name?" He says, "I'd just like to ask you, is this a statement or a question?"
I do that all the time.
Yes, we have to.
I actually did that several times. I would be like, pause for just a second. Are you going to tell me something or do you have a question? And then they would think for a second. And I'm like, okay, hold it till you come up to see us. Yeah, I have to do that all the time. All the time. By the way, nictitating membranes, according to like 7 different sites on Google, it's considered a third eyelid. I taught this shit at the zoo for 5 years.
You're bottom eyelid, top.
I'm counting bottom and top together.
No,
I
2 separate.
I have
eyelids.
them together. They close together.
We'll see how it feels next time he gets something stuck under his eyelid.
We don't talk about eye problems with James. It freaks him out.
Eye problems don't freak me out.
Eye drops freak you out.
Yeah, I don't want eye drops, but eye problems don't. Like you having an eye problem doesn't freak me out. It's not my eye.
It'll keep his mind off the diabetes.
Yeah.
The diabetes. It's not even so much the diabetes that worries me. It's the medication. It's the medication that makes me shit myself. That's the one that really vomit.
So bad.
Side effects may include.
Not may.
They
100% fucking include.
It's not as bad this week as last week. Last week it was like 4 days of sickness. This week it's only been 1. So next week it might not be.
If anybody's concerned out there listening right now about James' bowel health, I just want to know Katie's got you covered. It is more frequent than your snakes. If it's a pine snake or an indigo, it may be less frequent. We're not really sure.
Yeah, we don't hide a lot of stuff in this house, but we do keep doors closed.
Or on this show.
Because God forbid you go pee with the door open.
Yeah, close the fucking door.
It's been 20 years.
Close the fucking door.
I got to run one of the stairs at me real awkward when I do.
I will be half asleep and have to remember to close the door because if somebody wakes up and I'm peeing in the middle of the night, God forbid the door's open. They
put doors on the bathrooms for a reason.
All the lights are off. It doesn't matter.
They put doors in the bathroom for a reason. Close the door. If they didn't want you to close doors, they wouldn't have a door there.
What is your style? Door open, door closed. Leave it in the comments below.
There you go. That's what we want to know, people.
Well, but first off,
say open for open, close for close. That's
that only works. But this is only for if someone else is in the house with you. If you're home alone, I don't.
Yeah, I live alone half the week, so do whatever I want.
That's different.
I don't even care if you put the lid down. I don't care if you put the toilet seat down. Just. I don't always want to close the door.
Close the goddamn door.
Thank you,
Christina. That's gross.
The first weirdo to jump into the chat.
Close the door. Jesus Christ.
No, it's your house.
Put the toilet paper on.
Well,
that is all yours. You do it.
Toilet paper goes over.
Yes.
Not under.
Unless you're James and the toilet paper sits on the fucking counter.
Well, yeah.
Like I don't like madman.
No, because then you can.
No.
Then you can wrap it around
on the holder.
No, because you can wrap it around your hand and get it in that nice little rectangle shape for wiping. On the holder, they got to pull it off and then
on the roller when you're done. Every time I go to the bathroom, I put the toilet paper back on.
Me and 8 people watching have learned way too much about James Lewis.
If the toilet paper's on there, you have to pull the toilet paper off. Then you have to fold it.
My life is an open book, people.
It's like doing origami. I don't want to do origami if I can just wrap it in the shape I want and then use it.
I've hit an age where I don't care at all what people know anymore.
Kyle, I feel you on the dog boundaries. The dogs, they don't care. They bust through the door. God forbid you shut it but don't latch it.
Oh my
it's coming up.
So Millie, our pit mix, she likes to sit outside of the bathroom door if I don't leave the bathroom door open while I'm in the bathtub, and she whines. She sits at the door and cries. And then as soon as I get out of the bathtub.
All right, I'm learning that a whole bunch of people in our fucking chat and our fucking listeners are animals.
I just really appreciate the audience participation tonight. I love you guys. Darren,
all of y'all need to close the goddamn door.
Yeah.
But Millie will come in when I get out of the bathtub and she has to smell the bathtub. I don't know why. And every now and then, if there's water on the edge of the bathtub, she'll lick the water off. She does that every single night when I get out of the shower or the bathtub. Doesn't matter.
I wouldn't know because then she hears me turn the shower off. She goes out of the bedroom.
She'll be in the bed with me asleep. And as soon as he turns the shower off, she gets up and leaves. because she knows he's about to kick her out. Although lately you've been kicking her out before you get in the bathroom.
Yeah. And then she gets up all slow like she's 500 years old.
So pitiful. Poor Millie.
Yeah, poor dog.
Relegated
I never
to the
let my
couch.
dog sleep in the bed. I never let my dog sleep in the bed.
Not only does she sleep in the bed, she gets underneath the blanket and stretches out and cuddles next to my legs.
If I leave and she lets my dog in the bed, she does. And that happened until one day he went up there and pissed in the bed because he didn't understand the boundaries at that point. He knew it would be. Never did it with me. But yeah, it's one of those things. I don't let him in the bed. Sorry, kiddos. Love my dogs to death. There's one sitting on the couch with me right now. You hear that gentle ASMR of snoring. Bulldog.
Millie, Joe's little dog will pee on the bed, but Joe's little dog pees on the bed when she's mad at her mama. And she'll like
Joe's little dog pees and pisses everywhere.
She looks right at Joe and then like pops a squat and pees on the bed. I'm like, that's 100% because she's mad at you.
Christina, it sounds like your dog and Katie's dog probably need to get in a group and be arrested because they're little freaks. No, they all drink the bath water. Come on.
Millie doesn't. Not if I'm in the bathtub.
I don't know. She's not in there when I take a shower, so I'm good because I closed the goddamn door.
I don't let them in there.
Fucking animals.
They know better when I'm in the shower.
You and Joe bust up in the bathroom all the time while I'm in the bathtub.
Because you're in there for an hour and a half. So yes, at some point I need to talk to you.
Private time. That's when no one bothers me and I can hide from the world.
You know it's long because you have to refill it with hot water like 2 or 3 times before you ever get out of it.
Hey.
James is just really looking for his YouTube studio. He wants to have some time to watch some videos. That's all it is.
No, we have 2 bathrooms.
Other bathrooms
we have 3 bathrooms in this house. We're good.
We each have our own bathroom. What are you talking about?
Man, lucky. When I was growing up, my mom did daycare in the home. We had I think it was 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and my brother and I, 2 of us, plus 8 kids.
Yikes!
Yeah, it was wild. So we learned to share. Not share as much as y'all have tonight with James's health and bowel movements and things like that, but we learned to share.
Oh, look, my coworkers have become very aware of it because I've had to be like, hey, I need one of y'all to watch my yesterday. Yeah, 2
days ago.
It was yesterday.
No, it was yesterday because
I'd have my coworkers watch my room for like an hour. I was like, because I apparently ate lasagna, and can't do that. Apparently, I can't do that.
Is it dairy? Is that kind of stuff?
No, it's all I can figure is the carbohydrates.
His body is trying to get rid of the carbohydrates that he's consuming.
The sugar.
And the sugar is
you gotta go low carb.
Yeah, this medicine makes your body reject sugars. That's how it fucking works. It doesn't help fix your sugar problems. It simply makes you fucking miserable until you'd rather just be miserable than eat chocolate.
Ask him what triggered it last week.
Ate a bunch of cookies. I don't know.
A bunch? You ate 24 fucking cookies, James.
You make that sound like it's a lot. They were small cookies. They were not big cookies. They were like little small cookies.
I had zero sympathy for his ass last week.
Did I ask for sympathy?
No.
Exactly.
But I did take care of you.
Listen, I'm a Marylander and I'm allergic to crabs, shellfish in general, but it's digestive. So James, I feel you. Like 24 cookies, I'll take the consequences.
I normally would. This time, I don't know if I will again.
I'm not going to stop eating them.
I threw up for 45 minutes straight and shit myself the entire time. It was not fun.
Okay, yeah, no, you can have that.
It was so bad. That's the worst in our almost 20 years of being together. That is the worst I've ever seen him be sick.
It was so horrible.
It was rough.
Which is why I'm just going to die from diabetes. I don't need feet.
I mean, just start keeping banners for reptiles.
Fuck yeah. And then if you just hold them mid-body.
Boost your YouTube career.
Hold them mid-body, and you have control over them.
Your Facebook
will go crazy. That we wait till she leaves the house for college. So you got 5 years. 4.5
years.
Off himself with a venomous snake.
I
hope she would at least be through college.
When she gets out of this house, I'm getting Gila Monster, and I'm getting a Gaboon, and Eastern Diamondback. Cannot wait.
Yeah, I was just telling my partner the other night. I'm like, I love some venomous reptiles, northern copperheads, Trans-Pecos copperheads. You can't beat them in my book. It's one of the most gorgeous snakes I've ever seen. Squamagera vipers, African bush vipers, things like that. Even Gila monsters, beady lizards. I'm 42 years old and I'm not responsible enough to keep venomous reptiles. I fully admit that.
Had he not had the job he had at the zoo, I wouldn't be comfortable with it. But I know that he's capable of doing it.
I think when I get to that point, though, I will not have the same size snake collection I currently have.
No.
I will definitely downsize.
Scott and Ty Eifer, I think you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
Scott really preaches sobriety with venomous animals because you don't know when you're going to have to go in that room and deal with those animals. Some of that doesn't sit 100% right with me. I'm not a drinker. I've never had a drop of alcohol in my life. As a matter of fact, I'm not a Mormon either. Thank you very much. But there are other substances and things like that I might not want to take a weekend off of, to make sure that my snakes are always safe. Yeah,
I don't
we don't partake in any of that.
Also, where I fit in, I fit in weird in this hobby is I don't do any of that stuff.
No.
There you go.
It is.
So you might be the ideal candidate.
Yeah.
I am usually the
most
sober person.
Even Katie just agreed. You're good.
Yeah.
Venomous snakes.
Hell yeah. Christina asked, how often in a week do you spend time or feed your reptiles?
Depends.
So feeding
on
reptiles is usually like every other week or so, or more.
Depending on what it is, though. Like the lizards get fed more frequently.
Oh yeah. Like lizards get fed, and tortoises get fed off. But my snake room.
The snakes don't.
Especially depending on how expensive fucking rats are, it sometimes get spread out. But I mean, in a perfect world, that's okay. Last night, because I was in there cleaning snake cages, I told her I need her to help me. This is another thing. Like if you have a partner, I told her I need you to force me to go to the snake room for 30 minutes. And that sounds bad because I should not be forced to go there. And it's not like I'm forced to. But I get home and then I lay on the couch and then I don't really want to move until it's time to go to bed. But
then he doesn't want to get off the couch, come to bed either, because I try like 4 times.
Because it's so comfortable falling asleep on the couch watching TV.
I know, but I can't fall asleep if you're not in the bedroom.
I can't explain why. It's just I sleep so well.
I know. That's why I leave you.
In short naps on the couch.
Because I feel bad because I know you're sleeping better there.
But
I just cover you up with a quilt.
I'm so tired. So I just need to make it. And the other problem is, in this house, my snake room is upstairs. Whereas in our old house, we had a 1-story house, and my snake room was right off the kitchen. And it also was where I had my recliner and my TV and all my stuff. And it was my room to go sit and hang out. So I could go sit, hang out, and clean cages and hang out with animals. Whereas this one is
there's something to that, man. There really is.
I'll at least have a small TV in there so I can throw like YouTube videos on or watch something on there while I'm in there.
It's just hard to find space for a TV in your snake room because if you have space for it, you want to fill it with a cage.
Well, I was lucky because our old house it was a giant enclosed garage, like carport, and so they had built it. So it was basically 2 rooms, and I was able to go and sit in my recliner and watch TV and then clean snake cages. I miss that so much.
I feel like I need to explain and potentially apologize to Christina. I did say I'm not Mormon.
You don't have to apologize to Mormons.
That's the first question that I generally get when I say that I've never drank in my life.
I have never once been asked that question when we tell people we don't drink.
I think you're pretty clear that you're Catholic, so I think they're.
But have you never drank in your life?
No.
Like I've never tasted alcohol.
Oh, good for you.
You're not missing out on much.
I don't know. Well,
you're not missing out on much.
It's a rare occasion. I had a
that's where that comes from.
Particularly rough week of school though, and a whole bottle later, I felt great, and then I slept like a rock. It was beautiful.
I have been drunk 3 times in my entire life, and all 3 were planned out.
And I was with you for all 3.
I'd say all 3. The one on Bourbon Street wasn't so much planned out as I was going to Bourbon Street to hang out, and then people just kept buying me drinks.
God,
then I got fucking shit faced.
God, it was so bad. There are so many potholes on the streets of New
Orleans. Well, it is bounty the next day. It is not fun.
I love New Orleans.
I don't.
The rest of Louisiana. Sorry, guys.
I like the rest of Louisiana. Well, minus Lake Charles. Let's get this clear. Lake Charles is a shithole, but the rest of Louisiana, I love. I fucking hate New Orleans. I have a coworker. She fucking loves New Orleans, and I make fun of her all. She loves it. I'm like, I always ask her, what is it that you love about it? Is it the smell of piss? Is it the overwhelming amount of crime?
All the history and the culture and the food and
it's kind of
I don't like Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street is exactly that. Like I've never walked down Bourbon Street and not smelled urine.
straight up urine. It's
yeah.
I think they put it out there on purpose just so that it smells authentic. Even like during the week when people aren't out there peeing enough, they just collect it and put it out there so when you visit, it smells like urine, so you can get the full feel.
But we did some community service projects at a job that I worked. We did a big conference in town down there, and we did some local community service projects in like Holly Grove and places like that. And I mean, around those places, just the culture of the city and the culture of the neighborhood that you're in is just so vibrant and incredible.
I guess
So, like,
it's an okay place to visit.
It's not just piss-soaked beads.
It's an okay place to visit every now and then. I could not imagine living in New Orleans or around New Orleans. I
couldn't do the weather. I couldn't do the weather.
Also, you built an entire city under sea level. You're fucking stupid. Like,
sorry.
Come on, if you have to put a wall up so you can finally build the city, maybe build it somewhere else.
Facts.
Fucking stupid.
Don't talk to Jack about that. The Netherlands is like half reclaimed land. They just do it right. That's the difference.
Well, they're bicycles and boats.
Christina, to answer your earlier question, I'm in the DC area. I'm in Maryland.
I'm ready to go back.
No venomous reptiles for us. Illegal.
Back to Maryland?
Yeah.
Back to DC?
I want to go back.
Well, my grandmother's dead, so I don't know if we ever really get to go again.
James Lewis. Don't be so harsh.
Well, she is dead.
I know, but
she was the only reason we went to DC.
We can make other reasons to go.
Yeah, but it was a free place to stay when we went to DC.
That is true.
Shit's expensive up there.
Yeah. We'll have to plan it out.
I got friends. We got people in the area.
That's true.
Travis ain't far away.
I like it up there.
I like visiting up there.
Visiting.
I want to live.
It's an awful place to live, to be honest. It really is. Traffic's horrendous.
Fucking horrible.
It is one of the most expensive places to live in the country. You cannot make it here as an average person without some type of parental support, roommate, something like that. Like it is really tough. And I would encourage any young person to get out of this area and come back if you want to be here. You know, like you guys out in Texas, you got a lot going for you as far as cost of living versus cost of income or what you're making from the income and everything. Granted, I know everybody's feeling the burn right now.
But it's definitely more expensive
up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How much is a gallon of gas right now for you?
A gallon of gas is about $3.29.
I paid $2.19 yesterday. The $2.19?
It's $2.29 with the card. Cash is $2.19.
Well, I mean, you talk to somebody in Chicago, it's it could be $4 a gallon in Chicago right now, easily. It's probably $6 in LA.
Yeah,
it's insane prices out there.
Kyle says he'd love to see DC at some point to follow the trail from the documentary with Mr. Cage.
It's awesome. When they went to Mount Vernon to steal the Declaration, I actually work right across the river. Like the whole point of our park is to preserve the view.
Kind of a letdown when you go see the Declaration of Independence, especially if you've watched the movie, because it doesn't fucking look like that.
No.
Like you wait in line to go down a hallway to go into this little.
Hold on. You have to go to the archives, which is the shittiest museum in DC.
It is.
Hands down.
It is. And then you get this little half semicircle room that everybody just has to work around and go, oh, there it is. And then you're done. Like, just go to the Natural History Museum and say, fuck it. It's the best one of all of them anyway.
American history is
Well, I'll also say for natural history, same thing for the Hope Diamond. It's the same thing.
It's the biggest.
It's a fucking rock. It's not. Go look at the dinosaurs.
Nobody cares.
Go look at the dinosaurs. They're way cooler.
There are incredible gems and minerals in the Natural History Museum.
Hope Diamond doesn't do it for me.
They have gigantic.
The Hope Diamond is probably one of the most boring ones.
I think.
I can't think of the thing. The rock with the crystals on the inside. No, the
geodes.
They have giant geodes there.
Yeah. I can remember when I was in 8th grade, we took a field trip to DC, and my mom was like, all right, well, everybody wants to go see the Hope Diamond in our group. We need to go. I'm like, who the fuck?
It's a long fucking line.
I'm like, who cares? It's a rock. Do you see all this other cool stuff we could see? And so we went because I was the only one in the group that didn't want to go see it. And
the coolest thing they have there to me is the human evolution exhibit, because they have all the goals through human evolution.
Have you?
They've expanded it as well.
Have they?
Yeah.
Have you?
So they get into different species of hominids. Sorry, Kate.
Yeah.
No. Have you seen the butterfly exhibit? Is it still there? At the That museum.
I'm not sure if it's still there, but yeah, in the Natural History Museum.
Well, it was supposed to be like a temporary thing, and then it became a permanent thing
for a while. But when we would go visit, we would go visit his grandmother every summer. At least Joe and I would. Sometimes he would come with us, and we would always go. And that was her favorite place.
I know they have like a daily time that they bring out like walking sticks and giant history.
The whole bug zoo is really cool too.
That was her favorite section.
That's great. I like to say, like the human evolution. Yeah, the human evolution is great, and then I also like the fact that you can see the evolution of whales, because they have those, like, so you get to see the actual ancestors that had legs.
Yeah.
So that's always cool.
Yeah. We liked the Natural History Museum because when Joe was little, it had regular toilets. And all the other Smithsonians had automatic flush toilets, and she refused to go to the bathroom in the American history. She goes, let's just walk next door. So at 5 years old, I'm walking her butt back next door so that she'll go pee.
I remember my grandmother getting indignant with me when we walked past a brown cube in an art garden. I was like, that's stupid. And she like got indignant and tried to explain to me why it's not. And I'm like, okay. I walked away still thinking that's fucking stupid. It's a brown cube, not like brown with decorations on it or drawings, or a fucking brown cube.
She would go with us. Because the art garden is not far from the Smithsonian's, and she would go with us and we would eat lunch there. And then Joe and I would go to the museum and she'd take the metro back home.
Yeah, there's the National Gallery of Art has the sculpture garden.
Yeah. There's a big fountain there too.
Every Friday in the summertime, they do Jazz in the Parks, where they actually do live jazz music out there, and you can bring a picnic and everything.
Oh, cool.
I've been up there because in the summer they normally have the big like festival of the world or whatever, where they have all the different things, but it's always so fucking miserably hot out there in the middle of the summer.
The International Festival?
International Festival, yeah.
It's so hot. And so many people, it is.
And when you've that many people in one space, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
But it is it is the largest escalators I think I've ever been on. The Metro
Center and DuPont Circle have some of the highest. Absolutely.
It is crazy.
The one by the zoo.
Yeah.
Christina asked in the chat real quick. I actually got back into keeping a couple leopard geckos. I just keep two. They're natural. I love setting up the vivariums for them. I had a tokay gecko until about a year ago, that free ranged in my house. It was really cool. He would call every so often. He'd be like behind the TV one day, behind the bookshelf the other day. But yeah, I've kept monitors.
I thought it said escalator. I said escalator.
Escalator.
I said escalator, Kyle.
Maybe you just said escalator.
Escalator. Escalator.
I don't know.
Escalator.
I do hate that the zoo got rid of my favorite thing they used to have was the invertebrate house.
That was really awesome. They had live corals, they had the spiders, they had the giant octopus.
They had last time we were there, they had baby cuttlefish, which was awesome.
Nautilus.
Yeah.
Amazing. And they actually had some incredible artwork there, if you had ever gone through and really looked at it on the walls. And they also did the butterfly thing, Katie, on the outside. If you made it past the golden orb weaver spiders,
the golden orb weaver spiders,
or anything around them.
Yeah, they could just climb out wherever they want. I always thought that was really crazy.
Fun.
So, have you ever got to see the orangutans do their? I've never got to see them cross.
On the walk. Oh. Yeah. They do it every so often. Yeah, I've not seen it a lot. I would say probably like 1 out of every 15 to 20 times. Granted, I started hopping the metro at like 12 years old and going to the zoo by myself in the summertime. Like my parents didn't necessarily know where I got off to. But of all things I could have been doing, let's be honest.
The zoo's not bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's times I've gone to the zoo 20, 25 times in a year.
I would have done that.
More but it's also, for people to understand, it's free.
Yeah.
So the Smithsonian Institution.
Except, isn't there one? I want to say
there's a number of museums. The Spy Museum is the most popular. That is not free. So a lot of people really like the Spy Museum and the Museum.
Well, we did the Spy Museum, but we also did the Building Museum because they had a huge interactive exhibit this summer that we were there.
But
is that the like play balls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna live.
The Natural History Museum is free. Everyone should do it. The
Absolutely.
African American History Museum
amazing
is awesome.
amazing.
It's free, but it's ticketed if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
I think it's still ticketed.
It was so busy. So
when
many
we
people.
went, we lucked out. Like at like 6 a.m., you could log in and try to get free passes for the day. And I lucked out and got some, so we went.
My favorite part of that whole museum was the music part of it. That was really cool.
We have a picture of our Joe Louis standing in a boxing stance next to the boxer Joe Louis's gloves.
That's true.
Somewhere we have that picture.
But yeah, the zoo is
she was
free,
like 7,
which is amazing. They also got rid of the bat house there area too. That was kind of sad too.
They did, yeah. That used to be over by the large predators.
I do like the rainforest building. That's one of my favorites.
Amazonia. So Amazonia is actually really incredible. If anybody gets the opportunity to come, if you're familiar with freshwater fish, they have arapaima, which can get up to like 12 feet long.
And they're massive.
They have huge exhibits. Like I could go down. They have like a basement with a full-size glass wall aquarium. I could go down there and sit down there for hours.
Oh yeah,
they've got freshwater stingrays.
And then we get up into the trees. Like there's birds flying around. There's if you're good, you can find the sloth.
There's woolly monkeys.
Yeah,
in there. Yeah.
What
had an ibis come straight up to me.
We last time we were there, was it a bear that had cubs that were running around?
It was the spectacled bears.
That's right. Spectacled bear had.
We sat for a good hour just watching these cubs play.
The other cool thing for herps is for anybody who's into reptiles and amphibians, the Amazonia exhibit has a lot of actually the poison arrow frogs and poison dart frogs as well.
Yeah. They have Brazilian rainbow boa.
They have Brazilian rainbow boa. They have Sicilians, like not the Italians, the amphibians. Yeah, it's a really rad spot. I had an opportunity to go backstage there one time, but wasn't able to go. It was a fish club. I had to work the day they went, unfortunately. So really
here's my unpopular opinion of the National Zoo. I don't give 2 shits about giant pandas.
I know where this is going. As soon as
I'd much rather go see the red pandas that are next to them than the giant pandas. I don't want to see big, stupid bears that are supposed to be extinct because they're so fucking dumb.
So it's an exclusivity thing, right? I had to figure that out at one point myself. I didn't really understand the hype. There were only 4 zoos in the U.S. that had pandas, and I think that for me growing up so close to it was a little passé, of course, because there's so much attention given to it. But I think it's DC, San Diego, maybe Atlanta. Kentucky or somewhere like Atlanta. So it's very exclusive to have.
But they finally get them back because I heard they were getting them back from China at some point.
Yeah, they got them back. But the red panda escaped one time.
Did it really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Got out in the islands, Oregon.
I also think we probably need to stop calling them red pandas. They're not a panda. They're not even closely related to pandas.
Well, I think on Clint's reptile video, he was talking about the phylogeny behind it. And I think the red panda had the panda name first.
Then fuck it, get rid of the giant panda name. Call them giant Oreo bears. I don't care what the fuck you want to call them.
Yeah.
But
our kid just texted and said she blew out a candle.
Okay, so I can't smell anything right now anyway, so I could be having a stroke and not know it, I guess.
She's just blowing one out for Megan's birthday.
Yes,
there you go.
But I do say the new pachyderm house there on the zoo is so much nicer than the old one.
Yeah, and they're really trying to go for that biotope approach as well. Like at the National Zoo, they're really trying to dig into like the Asian biosphere and everything, or the Southeast Asian in that case.
Also, if anybody goes to the National Zoo, understand it is anything but flat.
It is a hill.
It is.
Like the entire thing is
both ways.
You're going to go down, and then you got to come back up, and it's going to be a pain.
Up both ways.
If you go by Metro, which is the easiest way to go, honest to God, go to the stop past the zoo and walk back to it because you're walking down it.
Yeah, I think we come out and stop there where the McDonald's is. There's a McDonald's at the base That's the one where you walk up. Yeah. But coming out of the zoo,
we're walking down.
And that's tired.
Yeah. We're not tired yet when we get there, and we always eat at McDonald's, and then we go. And so
I'm not eating at the place across the street that says like Louisiana crawfish. I'm not eating fucking Louisiana crawfish in Maryland. Stop that. It is an all day thing too, Timothy. You're right.
It is an all day thing, and it's big enough to be that, right? Like not every zoo is. We used to. One of the things, my mom, big animal lover. we used to do any vacation around zoos and aquariums and things like that. So it was always a big thing. And if we were in town with like a pet shop, we had to go to the pet shop to check it out.
I've been to so many zoos in the rain. So when I became a zookeeper, I'd have other zookeepers like, why are these people here in the rain? I was like, because this may be the only time they're in town. I've been that kid where it's the only time we're in town, and I will go to the zoo in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
I like going in the rain. I like going in the wintertime. There's fewer people. You can see things, and when there's fewer people, the animals.
I will say one of the parts I like of the National Zoo, and it's an older part, but it's the North American part. I think it's pretty cool when you get down into the North American part and see like the otters and the eagles and you like to where the seals and all that whole back
the beavers, the red wolves.
Yeah.
The sea lions and seals. Well, I think they just have seals now, but the seals they redid that exhibit is fantastic. And the thing is, look, I'm spoiled when it comes to zoos, not just because I want them all to be free, but also the National Zoo. Say what you will about zoos, say what you will about the way that they are. I've been to some zoos I'm ashamed to have gone to.
Yes.
Outright. The National Zoo is not one of those zoos. They really do put the animals first. We
are a reptile podcast, and I must say this. The oldest part of that zoo is the reptile
building. The reptile house.
And if you come to Houston Zoo, the oldest part of that zoo is the reptile house. As a reptile person, understand that our animals are put on the back burner because they're not large and hairy and cute, and the general public doesn't want to pay to come see them. So
the Central Park Zoo, that's actually one of their newer sections.
Yeah,
like they've redone it recently. It's a cool, cute little zoo.
When we took Jack to the zoo, we ran into our friend
Audrey,
and because she now works kind of in charge of the reptile building, and then she's got a lot of plans for trying to change, at least within the infrastructure they have, and hopes that they'll also tear that down and redo the infrastructure. Because they just did
Birds of the World, which is an
awesome exhibit.
Yeah,
but
I really like it.
Now the birds have their shit. Give the reptiles a new building. Same thing for the problem with like the Smithsonian is that building is just kind of such an old classic building too, and I don't know.
And that's the
thing.
You
can only do so much.
And everything.
Yeah,
exactly. You can only do so much with what you've got.
And they've also got incredible outdoor spaces there, which is surprising given our climate. It's a very temperate climate here. We get hard, cold winters, but they had one of the most incredible Komodo exhibits outside.
Yes, that's true. They it's a really cool zoo. I think everybody needs to go there. Also go to the Natural History Museum and any of the other museums.
The American Museum of Natural History, yeah, absolutely.
We need to do that here in Houston.
Go to the one here. Yeah, we haven't been.
We still haven't been to the one
because you have to pay to go to these.
They cost.
They cost money.
The Smithsonian, don't get me wrong, we all pay for it. There is a federal tax mark for it, but at the same time, it's a large endowment that created a lot of that.
There's a traveling exhibit from the Smithsonian that's coming here in January. I don't remember what it was. I saw it.
Fascinating.
At the zoo or something.
Also, if you go to DC, make sure you get a pass for the metro. Ride the metro everywhere. Don't Uber places. That's just gonna be expensive. You can metro everywhere.
So we did
park somewhere, Uber to a metro, and then go from there.
Yeah,
if you got to.
Yeah, we last time or not one of the few times we went to got an Airbnb, and then we would Uber from the Airbnb to the closest metro, and then do metro the rest of the day.
And we have a bunch of like rental bikes and scooters and things like that now too, so you can hop on something like that. If it's like everything is within a couple miles of the metro, generally in DC.
You don't want to drive in DC.
No,
at all.
No, it's awful.
And for all of my and for all of my friends here in the South, if you own a large truck, it is not made for you. Just know that large trucks are not made to drive around there. Remember, my dad brought his up there, and then I had to drive it one day. I'm like, holy shit, nothing here is designed for this big ass F-150. I mean, it was 250 at the time. I don't know. It was not designed to get around there.
No, I mean, I've got a mid-sized truck. I've got a Nissan Frontier.
So do I.
A little older one. And it's parking that thing in the city. Like, granted, I can parallel park my ass off. That's where I learned to drive. But you have to build in 15, 20 minutes to look for a parking spot or pay out the ass to park anywhere downtown.
I always wondered if my grandmother was such a bad driver because she drove in the city, but she was one of those gas brake kind of people. Oh my God, I would get so nauseous.
2-foot driver.
Yeah.
Left foot brake, right foot. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I rode with my aunt, and I'm like, oh, now I know who taught my aunt how to drive. That is, got it. But it is. Katie would hate having to sit in the back of the car.
I can't. It was rough.
You call that chicken neck.
There's not enough distractions to keep you focused.
All right.
No, and if you look down, you're going to get car sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And I get car sick generally if I'm not driving.
I don't. That's the crazy thing. Like when I get car sick, I'm like, okay, it's time to start walking places.
No, I just get car anxiety. Like, got to be me driving.
Yeah.
When my grandmother got too old to drive, I was like, oh, good. I don't have to go through that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
There should be a maximum age. I'll run on that platform.
There should be a retesting. You should have to retest every so often.
Not just your goddamn eyes.
Yeah, no. They need to know if you can drive. Like if it's 70 miles an hour and you're doing 40, sorry, you don't get to drive anymore.
You know, when I did motorcycle school for riding and everything, there was a certain part of the course where you had to go through at a minimum speed. And we don't have that for the driver's test, but I'm like, look, 60, 70, 80 years old, I might want to know that you can hit the minimum speed.
Yeah.
Through a curve, you know?
Or that you can not take a curve at 5 miles an hour because you feel like you're going super fast and the rest of us are having to go 5 miles an hour behind you.
We were driving home the other night, and if my eyes are very tired, I'm almost legally blind. So if my eyes are tired, I don't like to drive at night because I see the halos around the headlights. It's common. A lot of people have this issue. And I made the comment to my daughter because she's been getting out of play rehearsal at 6 p.m., which is when it's getting dark. And I had to go pick her up. So I was driving home and I'm like, wow, my eyes, I'm not tired tonight. It's a really good night for driving. She's like, what are you talking about? And so I was explaining it. She goes, it's not normal to see those rings around the lights. I was like, nope. Sorry, friend. She's like, you don't have the lines that come off I'm like, yeah, also not normal. The rest of the world doesn't see that. Sorry, you got my astigmatism.
A couple times driving up and back to Tinley, doing the overnight because people got to work, people got to be at the show, so on and so forth, splitting the drives. Like, you're not meant to have that focused eye in the dark.
Yeah.
Like when you're staring at taillights, when you're staring at hazards or headlights coming at you, your eyes are not meant for that.
They're not. For that work. No.
So you're only going to be able to hold that focus. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a physician this weekend at an event that we had, and he was talking about our vision, that really focused vision like we do for reading or really picking up things is really meant for hunting. And we're not meant to be in that active vision dedication to a task outside of those time frames and time periods for us. So it's very easy for us to get that eye strain and everything and really fuck with us psychologically.
Yeah. Eye fatigue is a serious thing.
Mine is getting worse.
As you're getting older. We're not just saying that as anybody that's in the 30, 20-year-old range. We're not.
No, I've been like this since I was 10.
I used to drive back and forth to Detroit pretty often overnight. You can't hold the vision.
No.
Your eyes aren't ready for it. The more you do it, 25 years old, macular degeneration is a thing.
Yes.
Your eyes they don't heal anymore.
No.
Yeah,
take care of them.
My driving at night has gotten worse for me. Headlights are so much brighter now to me when I'm driving at night.
Well, they are. The bulbs are different. And even Joe was like, well, Josephine was like, well, that type of headlight is worse. I'm like, yeah, because that's an LED light. And I was like, but the old light bulbs don't do that. And she's like, those are the ones that look yellow. I was like, yes, I like those light bulbs. They don't bother my eyes.
It's not just color temperature. Like, how many times have you been in an auto parts store, looked at the back of the package, it says 20% brighter, 40% brighter.
Yeah. That's all well and good until you're in the car across looking.
You're the one looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when it gets to be a problem.
Did you finish all your cards?
I'm to the point where I need you to start signing stuff and Joe to start signing stuff.
Gross.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Looks like we're gonna kick it off here, folks.
Jeff is not in Michigan. Jeff is in Maryland.
Go back to rating.
Yeah, it's okay.
I did live in Michigan. I lived in Detroit for 4 years.
But now he's in Maryland.
The other parents are in Detroit
right
now.
Yeah.
They got there today.
Right on. So,
All right, Jeff. If you don't want people getting a hold of you. I mean,
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, look, if you need support, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm there for you. I don't know you, but I love you. Okay. Hands of Jeff on Instagram. I'm not on there often. I really don't do a lot of social media anymore. But if I don't know you, I see a message from you or something like that, I'll shoot you back a chat. I'm here for you.
Are you in the Discord?
I'm not. I probably should get on the Discord.
The Discord, I think, is good for those that don't like social media. I was not anti-Discord, but I was, you and I are around the same age, and that's newer stuff. And so newer stuff, you're like, ugh, gross. But I've enjoyed it because it's way more.
You're so cute.
It's way more focused. So like, you go to our Discord.
I think you put it on my phone, didn't you?
Maybe.
I don't actually
It's
know.
like a controlled group chat, from what I understand.
Yes.
With different channels.
Like, I don't want all those group chats on my phone. But hey, if it's Discord,
if it's in one spot, maybe. I don't have.
Somebody send me an invite that's not outdated, like James keeps posting.
I think I have it on permanent one now. I think on our.
I don't even have TikTok, so.
I think when you first started posting, James, I don't know if permanent was an option. So
but I think it is. It's on there now. So if anybody goes to our
Instagram,
to our Facebook page, you'll see on the side there it's our Discord link. Because last time we mentioned it, last time we were on the podcast, and I saw someone join, which means I know that it's still.
I don't have Twitter.
Twitter is just used for porn at this point.
I'm glad I don't have Twitter.
Oh, that's not Twitter. X is just used for porn at this point.
Y'all, at this point in the podcast, I like to point out how algorithms work, and James is flexing on himself that Twitter is used for porn because your algorithm shows you.
No, you go look for it. It's much easier to find. I'm not saying I didn't use it for porn. I used it, but it is you can't find porn on any of the other social medias. You can find it on the X, which is I can't say that either.
So it's not the little bird anymore?
No, it's an X.
Oh, see, Elon. That's how behind I am.
Elon, gotta have his.
That's how behind. X. I don't have Snapchat.
I have Snapchat on my phone. I don't use Snapchat.
I don't have any of that. Or my kid doesn't have any of that. So why do I need it? And when she gets it, he's gonna get it so he can monitor.
I have TikTok only so that like certain videos get sent to me. And
I take that back. I do have TikTok now because used to someone could send you a TikTok video and you could watch it if you didn't have the app. And now they won't let you watch the video if you don't have the app. So I had to download the app so that I could keep watching all the funny videos that my coworker would send me.
Well,
yeah, I'm just
now
so that's all I do.
Soon it may be outlawed, so who knows? They're talking about outlawing TikTok if somebody else doesn't buy it.
Oh,
because we don't want Chinese spying on us.
We don't want the Singaporean owner of TikTok to Chinese spy on us.
All he's gonna see me watch stupid videos. Fucking, what? He's gonna rob my bank account. He can have all $20. What's he gonna do? Do you want my credit score also? He can have that.
Yeah.
That's not gonna give him shit. So, I don't think the general public is worried about China seeing anything they have. Anyways,
just controlling our elections. That's all.
Yeah. Reach out to Jeff. He'll talk to you, or he won't talk to you.
I'm here for you.
Reach out to Katie. She'll talk to you. Leave me the fuck alone. I'll
there
talk
you go.
to you.
James Lewis, you can find him Simply Serpents on Morph Market. Go buy some of his snakes.
Please.
You support the.
I had someone this week message me and asked if I could ship to Bismarck, North Dakota. And I looked up the weather and it was today the low is -3, and I was like, I can, just not this time of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if you find anybody willing to ship to North Dakota right now, don't buy from them.
Don't do it, people.
I think the high was like 30.
And then you'll make it.
No. There are not enough e-packs in the world.
One of these send a baby Sambo
to survive.
A baby Sambo to North Dakota. I was like, it will be dead.
It made me sad.
You can only raise the internal temperature of that box so much without producing enough heat to cause harm to the animal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't think that through.
And heat will kill your reptile faster than cold.
Yep.
And the problem is he'll find somebody. He will find somebody that will ship to North Dakota.
Maybe he'll just find somebody local and go pick it up.
Yeah.
Problem is,
especially if you're in the Houston area, talk to James about some Sunglow, Motley,
Yes, please.
hypo boas.
Yes, please.
A call strain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they
sand boas.
He knows more about your stuff than I do. I feel really bad right now.
That's because he actually knows what the snakes are. You don't even know what the snakes are.
Nope.
That's what it is. It's easy for me to just go click.
Nope.
I can play the fun game of going into the
They're
snake room
orange-ish.
and holding a random snake, and both Katie and Joe will say something, and it'll be the wrong species.
Yeah, I do that all the time. But
support Simply stickers as well.
Yeah,
I gotta get back to
that's been taken over by 3D.
My 3D printing has taken over all that space.
And if you put 3D stuff on my sewing table one more time, it may find its way down.
I gotta make business cards, so I think I've decided on a business name for my 3D printing though.
You totally glossed over putting shit on my table.
No, I didn't gloss over it.
Hold on. Do you at least have 2 breeding 3D printers to have a business name?
Well, oh no, I don't. That's why I can have a business name and banners and everything. Because I'm not there yet, but I feel like I can be there. So.
Okay, yeah, then you're good.
But I'm going with Coiled Designs, but the E is a backwards 3, so it's COIL 3D Designs, Coiled Designs, and it's a snake. Is the logo like a little coiled snake? I used this is going to hurt your soul. I used a free AI thing to try and create a logo. By the way, anybody want to out there? The one thing they can improve. I don't give a shit if AI gives people 17 fingers, but figure out how to properly write font. God damn it! I don't understand how AI misspells words nonstop. Like they're fucking words. They're the easiest part of AI to me, and they steal words. So hard for
you
me.
Can also look, you got to stick to your budget, right? Like I have helped a lot of people out when it comes to logos and things like that, and a lot of them I choose to do, and I set my budget that way as well. If you are on a budget, go ahead, use your AI to get your logo and everything. We understand that, and then if you want, James, take your image from your logo, go on Fiverr and have somebody else put the text in for you. If that's your budget for a logo, that's fine. I don't want to be bleeding somebody dry when it comes to getting any logo business, which I'm not.
If anybody can talk Jeff into giving them a logo, he makes amazing logos. So
yeah, I got to believe in you or your business.
Jeff is awesome.
That's the long and short of it.
And Christina, Simply Print is already a thing, so I can't take that. And
up already.
No, it's a famous print. Yeah, that's an actual commercial.
What about Simply Printed, and you can still use your 3D?
Oh, that's still so close. I wanted Simply 3D, but that's taken like 17 times over. Like other people didn't look. There is no Coiled Designs.
I feel like my eyes have glossed over. I apologize.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about
anybody want to make a quick buck. Get the website, sell it to James.
Nah, you weren't gonna make shit out that. Look, did I tell you about the time I met the guy that had the email for Simply Serpents at Gmail?
Oh. No.
So I was
funny.
I was vending Conroe.
You didn't go Simply Serpents?
No, I still have a Hotmail. Mine is Simply Serpents at Hotmail.
Yeah.
You're like, you have Hotmail? Like, yes, because I've made it way back then. But I was vending at Conroe. Great. The guy walks up and goes, I used to have a business name. My same business used to be Simply Serpents. Like, did you live in Colorado? And he goes, yeah. I was like, you're the motherfucker who, and I was like,
he like I yelled screamed at this man from across the table.
I wasn't mad. I'd been it was built up aggression for this imaginary person I didn't know for years.
Oh yeah, we met him in real life person,
and it was him. He had it.
We laughed afterwards, but I was very taken aback by James's outburst.
But I thought it was hilarious. It's like you're the guy that keeps me from having the Gmail address that I want.
We laugh about it now.
It was my buddy Howard Redding Reptile Breeders. There was a guy out in California doing it back when they were doing it all by the post. They were doing it all by mail. And he had, he got the good graces of the guy. He's like, hey, Redding's my last name. I don't just want to use a name, and he got it. So
my dad bought me the URL at one point for simplyserpents.com, but he bought it for me when like websites were still a thing. And then nowadays you don't really need a website. Like you can get one. It's great, but like you don't really need one. That's just one more thing on your plate.
Bing will get you there. Google will get you there. Like just type in Simply Serpents.
Yeah,
it'll pull up.
Nowadays, if you have a Facebook page or if you're on Morph Market, people will find you.
Yeah,
that's it. But if you can't, search Simply Serpents shops on Morph Market. Buy James's snakes. Please. It's not too cold to ship them if you're in the southern United States, and that's you in Idaho, apparently, according to Katie.
Yeah,
that's
so. Look out for your weather. Check your weather. Check the weather in Indianapolis or whatever your local hub is.
It's so cold here right now.
If your temps are really below 50 right now, long term below 50 all day, and it doesn't get above 50, I'm probably not going to ship to you. There's probably not a chance in hell it's coming to you. But I will gladly sell to you and feed it until April.
We've done that plenty of times.
So lay away.
But if you find someone that's willing to ship to you in freezing temperatures, run away from
it.
Don't buy from them.
No,
because it gonna die.
There's still reptile shows going on. If you're in a major metropolitan area of any sort, there's probably one near you every quarter at least. Probably every month, every weekend around here. Within 2 hours, you can go to a reptile show. And which is wild. And your local vendors, they will really support. They will really be happy for your support right now. So the wintertime, go for it. In the heat of the summer, go for it. Other times of the year, Simply Serpents on Morph Market, Facebook. Check out what James has got.
And the Reptile Gumbo podcast at Gmail and on Instagram and on Facebook. And what are we looking? What are you doing?
I told you.
Why'd you smear that, Katie?
I told you I was going to smear. It sat here for 20 minutes before I stacked them, and they still smeared.
First off, this pen works great on paper. You wrote on the back of a photo, which is not regular paper, which is not what they're made for. They're made for writing on paper.
Well, they suck.
That's
Katie, what do they print photos on? Isn't that called photo paper?
Photo paper.
Apparently,
not regular
the same thing. That's why you need a ballpoint pen.
I don't need one. I write on normal paper.
And then you'll make the indentations
in this house.
You can see through.
See, exactly.
Shout out to Herb's Reptile Shows. I'm trying to wrap you guys up in 2 hours.
I'm going to stab you in the eyeball with that mechanical pencil if you try to give it to me.
You're getting very cranky.
I could have talked. Shows Lil's Shop of Horrors.
Look, I could have roped Jeff into talking about 3D printing for like an hour at some point.
I will see you guys later. It's been a great time. Adios.
I gotta reach
we'll
out
do that on the Pine Size Reptile podcast.
I really miss. I gotta get back with them, and we gotta do some more episodes on that.
I wasn't involved. It was great.
I told Travis I'm ready to come in and pitch it whenever you guys need me.
Scheduling. My problem was always it's hard enough for me to find guests for this podcast. It's very hard to find guests for two because I'm like, well, if I got that guest, I need a guest for this podcast.
I feel like I shit on this podcast and it seems like I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I don't. But then I have a good time. It's just 2 hours of my life.
Hey, you having a good time right now? Christina wants to know if you know where Idaho is.
Well, I don't like her very much right now, but I mean, it's okay.
Don't worry. She knows where it's at. You know where Arizona's at, though. That's the important one.
I'm going to karate chop you with my little jumping spider ornament.
All right, we're getting out of here.
Remember, some of your worst behaved kids are often your favorite. Okay,
that's not true for me. Fuck those kids. My favorite kids. I don't even know what their voice sounds like. They're kids that I have a hard.
I had a kid talk to me today that hasn't talked to me all year.
That's the kind of kid I want.
She came up to me at recess and was just telling me her whole life story. And when she walked away, one of my coworkers, he leaned over and he goes, "When did she get here?" I'm like, "She's been here all year." I've never seen that child before.
I had a kid come to me today. We had a test today. She hadn't been here the last 2 days. I was like, just take the test. It's fine. She's a smart kid. She took it. She failed it. I said, look, come back, retake the test. Normally, shit kid, I'd be like, that's your bad for not knowing the information. You failed it. Fuck off. She came back and got like a 95.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
But she never talks. She's always there. And it's like, yeah, I'll do stuff for you. I'm not going to.
Katie, Christina thinks you hate her because you won't identify where in the world Idaho is.
You do what?
We're not going there. We're not bringing up states again this year.
What
this
state?
Week.
What state's Idaho next to?
I don't know.
You do know.
I don't care. And I'm tired.
Just name one of them.
Can't.
Like
I don't know.
4. There's 4 states you could name.
I don't know.
5. No,
because
one's
I'm
really
gonna
big.
say it wrong, and then y'all are
no,
never
it's not. Pick a state and we'll see. Pick one state.
No.
It's a 1 in 49 chance. Well, really, it's not Texas. It's a 1 in 48 chance. Go, Katie.
I don't like the pressure.
Give me one state next to Idaho.
I don't like the pressure.
We can't get out of here until you. Nope, don't look. No, you're cheating.
Yeah.
You can't.
Don't touch me.
Give me one state. Goddamn it. What's your phone like? Quit cheating. I'll take your glasses off. Just real quick, try one time.
No.
One time. We can't get out of here until you do it. Jeff is held hostage until you tell us one state next to Idaho.
I don't know.
Just one. You know it's not Alaska or Hawaii, so let's count those out. It's not. Well, I'm not going to tell you it's not Maryland because you don't know. It could be Maryland. Who knows where Idaho's located?
Katie, if you can get one state next to Idaho, I'll do a giveaway again for the show.
They'll give away a globe
right now.
Like
we can do 36 Ticonderoga pencils, like whatever it is. Some 3D
I don't need any pencils. That's flammable.
What are you designing out in your head right now? I see you trying to draw something on the table to figure out what's.
I can't.
She put her hand
We
down.
have given her ample time to Google this, and she could be looking at it on her phone right now, but she is on camera.
She's like trying. She got an imaginary map she's drawing on the table with her hand, trying to figure out what state. I do not
appreciate the hostility that is directed at me in this moment.
This is week 2.
It is not.
Don't worry. Next week we'll ask you again. But right now, give me one of the, I think 4 states. It could be 5. I think it's four states next to Idaho.
I don't know. Christina can tell us.
Montana.
Yes.
Hey,
you got the harder one. That's not even.
We're giving away a map, folks. We're giving away a map.
The West Coast ones would have been much easier. Washington and Oregon.
Oh, I thought it was. That's why I was doing the map on the table. I thought it was further over.
It's right next to Washington and Oregon, where all the potatoes are.
Okay, I'm going now.
Give us a country that's next to Idaho.
Canada.
Yeah, it's got to be Canada. It's not Mexico.
I'm like,
come on.
I didn't realize it was that far up.
It's the border.
Oh. Okay, we're done.
Should have paid attention to the map the last time you put it on.
Oh God. All right.
I hate all of you.
Thank y'all for watching. Jeff,
Jeez,
hang out for
what is it? Education improvement plan? Put her on an EIP.
An individualized education plan.
She knew what I was talking about. She knows. She's very familiar.
I have a meeting for one of those tomorrow.
Is it for you?
Geography.
Oh. All right. We're getting out of here. Good night, everybody. Jeff, hang out for a second. We will be back next week with somebody. So good night.
Love you all.